Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, saints and ain'ts, participators, congratulators, haters, agitators, and all those above, welcome to another episode of the Throne Room and the Seat of the Esteemed. How are you, my king?
I'm lovely, and I'm just glad to be here another day that God gave me grace to try to wrong all my rights or right all my wrongs. And I'm happy to be in the presence of a legendary person right now who I look up to, who I think, paved the way for the South and is just a legendary person. God is good.
Absolutely. So, this evening, gracing our seat of the esteemed, in case you've been living under the rock for a century or two, is Source Award nominated, American Music Award nominated. Brother's song was actually the theme song for the Atlanta Braves. His music's been featured on, for all you gamer heads out there, Madden and Def Jam, Fight for New York. He is what I would call the lyrical emperor of crunk, Mr. Bone Crusher.
Oh, oh man. Thank you.
You welcome. And of course, his lovely queen as well, in case you've also been living under a rock and don't have cable or any access to the world. Wonderful artist, Miss Janae Storyteller Frazier, as well as in the building.
Hey.
Welcome you two.
Thank you.
Welcome you two. Thank you
Thank you for
both
having
so
us.
much for being our first other king and queen, demonstrating that love is real, and if you
Yes.
don't have any, get you some.
Mhm.
In the hearts and minds and the souls of our people. And you guys are our first couple to actually
Wow.
come here and demonstrate that. And we
Oh man.
are
Wow.
in so
That
appreciation.
means a
This
lot to
already.
us. So
It means
Oh
an
man.
Yes.
absolute
Ditto.
lot to
Ditto.
us.
Ditto.
yes.
Ditto. Ditto.
Absolutely means a lot to us. So I always like to go to the beginning.
Mm.
How does the man begin before the evolution of Bone Crusher and who he is here today? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, in a neighborhood called Adamsville, Flatland.
Mm.
Um, as a kid, I've always had my parents and my grandparents would always have me performing in front of them since I was 4 years old. So I've been performing in front of my family since then. And not only have I been performing in front of my family, I've also had these um, grown up debates between my uncles and my grandparents and me to make me a stronger individual um, lyrically, not as a rapper, but as a debater. And so I would have to debate with grown folk all the time since I was 4 or 5 years old. And the great thing about that was that I never got spankings for it. I would only get, why you think like that? What is, so how would you navigate yourself out of it? How would you figure out what that looks like as a ending for you to be victorious in your logic? So for many years, I would have um, I would have these just constant words thrown at me, constant word play thrown at me. Even so much that me and my sister, they would put me and my sister against each other. We would have witty banter between each other about different things that would be social topics of the day or uh, financial situations or whatever it was. And my grandpa would always tell me that, I don't care what you read as long as you're reading something. You can be reading a Playboy magazine. If you're gonna be in them looking at them girls, make sure you read the articles too. So I'll be reading comic books, National Geographic. I don't know if y'all remember the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Oh,
Of
yes.
I still got
We
my
Yeah,
set.
of
just
course.
had a conversation
Word.
not too long ago that if you didn't have the Encyclopedia Britannica in
Yeah.
your home,
Right.
you had to go to the library
That's right.
Right.
to get that information.
Right.
So those of us who actually had the catalog at home,
Right.
that was where we received our knowledge.
I still have my set.
Wow.
She showed us. She showed us. She showed us.
That might be worth a
still
couple
That
have
is
of
it.
no lie.
coins
She showed us.
today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still have it.
That sounds that was the building of the verbal reservoir.
Yeah.
Because when you're debating, you
Right.
need to be quick with it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to be an active listener,
Absolutely.
not just hearing.
Absolutely.
Active listening
We were just talking about it today.
and
Crazy.
building the rapport or the defense
Absolutely.
as that person
You're an attorney
is
in a
sharing
sense.
theirs. Yeah, so that's amazing.
Yep. Yeah.
That's
All my life
awesome.
I've been like that. Like all my life it's been, me. And then I got too smart for my neighborhood in my aspects of how I was living because I'm from essentially a nice bad hood, right? Neighborhood, and being too smart can be very detrimental to a young man, right? So I would dumb down myself a lot so that I wouldn't grandstand on those that weren't as privy to my knowledge as a kid. So I would get around kids my age, and I act like them. Yeah, man, whatever, man, whatever. Then I get back in the house, right? And I straighten back up. I got to act a certain way in the house, right? So when I'm outside on the street, fellas, it's different. You can't be talking about the philosophy of the day, social issues, blah, blah, blah. They don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
The audience wasn't ready.
No,
Oh,
they
no,
weren't ready for
no,
that. No,
Yeah.
they weren't ready for that at all. They were not. So a lot of times, and I could draw too back then. So I would draw stuff. What's so crazy as a kid? I would always give other people the props for it. So I would still assume that level of dumbing down. So I would not, be like, yeah, man. Oh yeah. Somebody else did that, man. I ain't do it, man. You know what I'm saying? Word, that's dope, man. That's dope, man. You should get them to do this. I said, yeah, I should.
Market research.
I should get them to do that. So, but my grandparents had always told me. My grandpa told me one day. He said, never allow yourself to put yourself in a position where you feel like you have to be less than in order to be accepted. And, because my grandpa is very, one of the greatest people I know, but God rest his soul. But he would always tell me that because, your parents could see it, right? They could see you doing stuff that you don't see. You think that they don't see you doing it. He would see me doing stuff like that. He's like, boy, I'll be watching you out there talking to the Prius, man, When did you learn how to talk like that? I was like, what are you talking about? When did you learn how to talk all that, You don't talk like that. You ain't no street hooligan. I said, yeah, you're right, Pop. I ain't no street hooligan. Then I get outside and be a head buster, knocking everybody out of the neighborhood. I got, but I earned that in the street, but I also earned the respect and admiration and the understanding of what it felt like to respect my parents and to get knowledge from my parents. I was always fearful of my grandpa and my uncles.
Is your grandpa? Is that your mom's dad? Paternal or maternal?
My mom's dad.
Got it.
Yeah. My mom, it's crazy, both sides of my family. I have a very large, I'm very proud of both sides of my family. Like my dad's side of the family is education and very, very street. Whereas my mother's side of the family is all education and not a lot of street, right? Although we lived in a house of burglar bars, I thought burglar bars were decorative because everybody in the neighborhood got burglar bars. So, my grandpa buying different kinds of burglar bars, trying to make them look right, you know what I mean? You got to with the spin around and the crown on
Add to the decor.
Right, add to the decor.
So it doesn't look what it is.
Right.
It's blending. It's blending.
Right.
What was the neighborhood like?
My neighborhood?
Yeah.
It was,
That time.
to me, it was amazing, we never did. Wasn't a lot of killing. Was no killing actually. Just a lot of fighting. Um, a lot of friendship, passion, and a lot of my friends, man, were luckily for the time in the '80s. A lot of my friends had the opportunity to grow up and get family, and I'm very proud to say that a lot of my friends from high school and from elementary school have kids and wives and have homes and good jobs. But and I'm also very saddened to say that some of my friends didn't make it, right? Because of some of the choices that they made and because of some of the things they did when they were young, got jammed up with this or whatever, whatever. And I would learn from their mistakes. You know, I was very smart enough to know not to go to jail because my grandpa had told my parents, not just my grandpa, my parents told, boy, you go to jail, boy, you stuck. I was like, man, I believe every word because they didn't play, man. Like, they really didn't play. I was hard, but they were harder, you know.
Mm.
And my neighborhood, to answer your question specifically and directly, my neighborhood was a very active place for blackness, right? I'm from the I'm from the home of civil rights, and that was instilled in me just as much as the foolishness was, right? From Martin Luther King to Maynard Jackson to Ambassador Young to Ali Pad to Hosea Williams to John Lewis. John Lewis stayed across the street from my uncle, so it was that type of influence was on me, and then every year, every New Year in my neighborhood, my auntie Irene, she would bring together all the families for New Year's Day dinner. And I didn't know at the time because I'm a kid. I didn't know that that was a meeting of what was to be for the new Atlanta that we know today. You know what I mean? The Johnsons and the Jacksons and the Cheneys and and the Hatchers. And these were at the time very strong families in Atlanta. And I'm just sitting there watching the football game, eating food. I don't know, man. I'm 9, 10 years old. I don't care about none of that.
Mm.
And, I was very close to and very honored to be around such great lineage from such wonderful people. That's my neighborhood. My neighborhood was based around intelligence, gangsterism, and family, which is the gangster part is not per se the same thing, but it was more like we were homeboys and family and all that. So it was really homegrown, real people, teaching you everything you need to know, learning from your mistakes. Every neighbor knew every neighbor. If you messed up, you would get back to your parents before you got home. That's my neighborhood. Adamsville, I love it, man. Flatland, beautiful.
You could tell by the smile. What was the soundtrack of your life at that time? What was the musical influences then? Because you was already a debater,
Right.
building that
Yeah.
vocabulary.
Right.
So there had to be music
Yeah.
that was the soundtrack to those
Music was
moments.
everything. It was still is. Like when I was a kid, I knew that my love of music was something that I had experienced before I came out of my mother's energy. Right. My mom was an amazing singer that would sing every second and fourth Sunday at church. So she would play music all the time when I was a kid. She would jam to certain grooves all the time when I was a kid. Michael to Stevie to Luther to Freddie Jackson to Cap Calloway to Billie Holiday to you know, and my grandmother then would have like parties and all the time in the basements because you got to realize they come from segregation. They
Mm-hmm.
come from before there was integration and assimilation. So there was a time when it was just black folk
It
coming
was
together.
just us
It
coming
was us
together,
coming
having
together.
our
That's right.
Right,
own fun.
right. So I'm upstairs. Well, they downstairs drinking peach schnapps and vodka and gin and whatever they drinking, jamming to whatever they jamming to, and it's coming through the floor, the sounds, the energy, the people, and they
Mm-hmm.
dancing. They ain't just sitting around. They dancing. They playing bizwig. They playing spades. They having a good time. So music is everything to me. It's my first love. It's my blood. It's my so the soundtrack for that is just synergy, energy, power, love, structure, intertwining of notes and variables that I feel at all times. That's what the soundtrack is. That's what the soundtrack will always be for me. When I was a kid, I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what that felt like until I found what brought it all together was hip hop because it was something that belonged to me and my generation, right? It was
Was
something,
ours.
right? That's what it became very precise and honed in. And I knew it was something that I had to do for the rest of my life. I was a carpenter when I found hip hop. I didn't know what I was going to do in life for real. Like growing up, I never knew. Like when I was a kid, I was very lost because I didn't know what I was going to do in life, right? But I would always hum sounds in my head all the time. I didn't know they were hooks. I didn't know that they were melodies. I didn't know what they were. I thought they were um, just something. I don't know what, just the sounds of my life. And I would just sit all the time. My grandmother would be like, "Well, what are you doing?" Like, "Oh, nothing." And I was just, I'm just humming, right? I'm talking,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. And then when I found, you know, and it wasn't Rapper's Delight. It wasn't the Great Curtis Blow. It wasn't Sugar Hill Gang. It was Run DMC. When Run DMC, when I found it, when I found them, it was at it was at the Fresh Fest in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know if you remember Fresh Fest. You probably y'all do. Y'all in
I
my age.
remember Fresh
Yeah.
Fest
Fresh Fest. I forgot. I
86.
forgot who I was talking to. Yeah. Yeah. So Fresh Fest. I found that at Fresh Fest at the Omni in Atlanta. And the first song that was so jamming to me wasn't even them. It was Gladys Knight, and she had a song. Was it Gladys Knight or Shotgun? It was Shotgun. Shotgun. That
Feel
one,
for you.
Feel for You.
Mm-hmm.
And Gladys Knight had one where she had the guys breakdancing in the street here up here in New York. And I forgot the name of the song. Remember the song talking about with
I
Gladys?
cannot think of it,
Yeah,
but
it
I
was
can visualize the
yeah.
video.
Right,
I
right.
just can't think of it.
It was crazy.
B, you know it. It's gonna come to you,
Oh
B.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna
it
come to
comes
you
in a minute.
because he's pondering
Yeah,
on it.
it was. Anyway, the record was crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Wow, what is this? Oh my God, this is crazy!" And I said to myself, "This is it."
Mm.
I didn't know what it was, but I was like, "This is it."
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't for years, man. I would just listen to hip hop, right? Because in Atlanta, there was no music business. There was no conducting of studios. I didn't know what a studio was. I couldn't comprehend what that looked like. I didn't even know if I sound good, period, on rapping. I didn't really know how to, I didn't think about rapping like that. I did every aspect of hip hop before I got to rapping. I was
Mm.
breakdancing, drawing
What
graffiti.
was your signature move? Because we all of us in that generation had a move we thought we really knew how
Right.
to do. Right. All
Oh.
of us had one we thought we knew. I could snake. I could I could snake out anybody.
Right. Right. Outsnake them. Mine was I spin around on my hand on the
Oh,
side.
you was very advanced.
And then I would
That's an
windmill,
advanced move.
windmill, handstand, footwork, and
Oh,
I
you
never
was
could do.
a real break
Oh yeah, I
dancer.
was there serious.
I was still getting the pop and lock
Oh, but that's dope though.
together. Yeah, I was still getting it together,
But that's
thanks to
dope
the
though.
cousins.
That's dope.
None of
Honey,
it
what
ever
was your?
worked out for
Yeah, I
me.
know, honey. It didn't work out for honey.
Save the overtime.
Yes, Say the overtime.
Didn't I tell you he was gonna get it? I said, give him a minute.
Look,
He's gonna get
you
it.
started
Oh, you did! That shit just gave me shivers. Oh my God!
Wow.
Wow! Boy, hold on a second. I need to download that, man. Man, say the overtime for me. I love it. Man, I said Gladys. I said, woo wee. Man, because my mom's, man. I said, mother, like I'm from up here. My mom was playing the record. And, you know, Gladys Knight she's always been like, to me, always on the edge of the next thing that's coming at that time, right? You know, and, you know, I know Gladys from other records. You know what I mean? Her and the Pips. 'Cause my
The
grandparents,
Gladys
my
and the
mom,
Knight and the
and
Pips.
uncles playing that. To hear that, I didn't know who that was. Till I saw the video. I was like, Gladys Knight.
That can't be Miss Gladys.
Hey, Gladys Knight. I swear to God, if I was a whole nother Gladys Knight. Because the breakdancing was dope. You know, they were doing the windmills and all that stuff, dancing in front of the brownstones. I was like, man, this shit is crazy. Right? But I knew then that this was something for me. I didn't see it as a viable source of a lifestyle because that wasn't what I was trying to do when I fell in love with it, right? It's like when you find the woman that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, or the person that you're going to be around for the rest of your life, or something that you're going to have with you forever. You don't think about the materialistic things inside of it. You think about the thing itself. You think about the compassion that it takes to acquire it. You do whatever it takes to be a part of it, right? So it wasn't a financial thing for me at all. I didn't know what that looked like. You know, I didn't care about money because I didn't need money. I was living with my parents. So the music is what got me going, and that's what got me in a space of, you know, like for years just sitting and listening and loving it and learning cadences and learning vowels and putting wordplay together. That just came from breakdancing, graffiti. Then I went from graffiti to DJing. I went from DJing to, I thought I was going to be a DJ. I thought I was going to be a pro football player, but I really thought I was going to be a DJ. Because I played football in high school too. But I thought I was going to be a DJ. Everything, music would never leave me. Even when I was playing football in high school, and I was pretty good at that, then music kept me sane, right? Because, you know, my dad, who was around me all the time, but I really didn't have anybody other than my grandpa. You know, he's older, and he didn't want nothing to do with that hip hop, bebop, soup lop, whatever the hell you call it.
But you know, that was very common for most of the elders.
Right.
Because when my first hip hop tape was Boogie Down Production.
Chris, yeah.
That was one I
was.
purchased with my own little allowance that I saved up and went over to the record store. Kids don't know nothing about that now. Everything is right on their phones now.
Right.
And I was playing, you know, a song my grandmother really didn't appreciate.
Right.
Criminal Minded.
Right.
Criminal Minded. And she said, if you don't turn that noise, it was noise.
Right.
To her.
Right.
And that's how many of the elders felt. They didn't understand the energy. They didn't understand the references we were making. It's not different from what they was doing in their youth too.
Absolutely.
Just a different cadence.
Right. Just a
different melody. Because you listen to some of that soul and blues music, you either want to cry, you want to fight.
Man.
You know, my man left me, my woman left me. I love him so much. You know, that juke joint music.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Hip hop's the baby of that. But they didn't see it at that time. So I had a grandma too that was similar to your grandfather that couldn't understand it. Didn't want no parts. And sure didn't want it blasting through the house.
No way. You know, and for years, man, to be quite honest with you, for years, my grandparents and my uncles and my aunties tried their best to stop me from doing it.
Mm.
because they didn't know. You know, your parents sometimes trying to save you can destroy you at the same time.
Mm.
And what they were doing was stifling me from a creative space of something that unbeknownst, because they think they're helping and loving on you.
Mm.
They give you a little tough love. And they was like, why you keep, like, my grandparents would send my uncles and them kind of like in secret missions to stop me. You know what I mean? You know, and it'd be like, they try to get me to, man, I don't know why you keep doing that rapping stuff, man. You know, I don't even know what that stuff ain't gonna last, man. Come on, man. You got a nice little job as a carpenter. You don't went to school for it. Come on now, man. You making good money a week, man. Come on. I said, man, will y'all leave me alone, man? I'm not gonna stop, bruh. I know exactly what I want to do, you know, and I'm almost about to fight my uncles disrespectfully, respectfully, because, you know, they trying to stop me from my first love ever. I'm like, it wasn't a girl, it was hip hop, right? That's the first love, like sincere. I'm finna knock a motherfucker out over this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got into my uncle one day, and so much that my grandmother came down the steps. She said, y'all stop.
Mm.
Boys, y'all stop. And I was like, he stopped.
Mm.
Tell him to leave me the fuck alone.
Mm-hmm.
Then mom was like, boy, I told you I'll take your ass outside. Boy, we gonna go at it right here in the front lawn. I said, let's go out here in the front lawn then. Let's go, right? So I ain't scared.
Never scared.
I ain't scared, right? But the thing about it is these are guys that raised me to be this way.
Right.
So what happens is that it was conflicting with my logic with them. You raised me to fight for what I believe in. Now you're trying to tell me I should stop. So I was like, oh, hell no, y'all tripping. I don't know what the hell's going on here. This is like the Twilight Zone to me. This makes no fucking sense to me. For years, you beating this in my head. You gotta be your own man. You gotta be this guy. You gotta do. So now I figured it out, because it isn't into the scope of what our parents
Right.
Yep.
saw that was a viable source of income at that point. They was looking at me like I was lost my mind, right?
They're like, you gonna throw your good carpentry career
Yeah, you
away?
gonna throw it all away? Oh, we gonna pay for all this schooling? You don't
All
lost
this
your goddamn
schooling.
mind? All this schooling, boy? We don't pay for all this schooling. We don't. If you lost your mind, you don't been to 4 different schools. You about to stop. You about to stop. I said, hey man, this ain't it. This ain't it. And then the last day, I tell this story all the time. The last day of me being a carpenter, I was at North Springs High School in Atlanta, Georgia, off of Roswell Road. And I said, this it for me. Well, this shit's it's my last week.
Mm.
And I threw my hammer off the roof, and I watched it sail and it hit the ground. And then my labor, the labor foreman on the job was like, boy, you don't goddamn lost your mind, man. You can't throw no damn boy. Oh shit, goddamn come out here, shut it down. You throwing shit off the goddamn roof. I said, man, fuck this job. I'm gone, man. He said, man, how you gonna quit, man? I need you. I said, man, you gonna need somebody else. I'm out this bitch. So I got, and I left. When I left, I felt the most amazing relief that I have ever felt in my life. I was broke after that check. I had nowhere to go, but I was the happiest I've ever been in my life. I was so happy. I was like, yo, is this what freedom feels like? I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. And then when I got back to my grandparents' house, I'm downstairs, and I ain't never ran from shit. So I told my grandpa, I said, listen, man, Pa, I gotta talk to you. He said, say what? He said, what's going on? I said, quit my job today. He said, why'd you do that? I said, well, fuck me, I want to do something else. He said, he says that hip hop, bebop, 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 bop. I said, yeah. I didn't say I was hard with it. I just say I don't run from it. I said, yeah.
Something
He
like
said,
that, Grand.
yeah. He says, I tell you what, you know my rules. Either get a job or you go to school. well, so I went, got me a little manual job,
Mm-hmm.
doing nothing, and I just went around trying to find hip hop. And I went all through all the clubs throughout Atlanta, man. And before I had left the school, I met a guy uh, named Tater, and me and Tater and another guy named Direct. God rest his soul. He died a couple years ago. Is my guy. But we made a group called the BNC,
Mm.
and we started rapping together and all that stuff, and we would just go around. He's uh, Direct's from Queens, Cotton's from Herndon Holmes, is the west side of Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and we hung out every day, just walked around, just listening to music, and I had my little menial job, and I was like, I'm so happy, but I was really really broke, and I was really
And
like,
that's common in most artists.
Yeah.
right. I was like really hurting, man, and I remember one time my grandpa, man, he said that I had came home from this is years after I had really just stopped working as a carpenter and went and started doing music and running into certain kind of people. I ran into BME, which is Lil John that you know, yeah, Lil John. Started working with them, then and you know, and I came home. So I was with a band called the Chronicle, and I'm jumping around. I was with this band called the Chronicle for 7 years, which is Little John, the drummer, uh, Avery Johnson, uh, Billy Odom, Phil Davis on keys, and L Rock. The reason why I mentioned this band is because this band is probably is not probably is the most pivotal band for the sound of Atlanta that you guys know today, right? For me, myself, Organized Noise, Lil Jon, the list goes on and on and on. The reason why this band is so pivotal for us is because this band was some of the greatest musicians ever assembled. Lil Jon, the drummer, played for Janet Jackson, Miles. I mean, he said he didn't play Miles, but George Duke, Stevie Wonder. He played for a whole bunch of people back then, um, and Avery Johnson, the bass player, produced Never Scared,
Mm.
right? L Rock produced Yeah for Usher with Lil Jon.
Mm.
So, and Organized Noise used all the band members that were associated with the Chronicle and all the hits they all did. You know what I mean? All that Outkast stuff, TLC. So the Chronicle was definitely the reason why we are who we are, right? They taught me how to uh, by cadences, how to flow a certain kind of way on the groove, unquantized rhythms, uh, the way sounds and words come together, choruses, alto, tenor, bass, all that comes together to make a particular, like if you ever listen to Never Scared, it sounds like it's one note, but it's several notes on there. And I'm
Mm.
like, it's like layers of notes.
Mhm.
And that's why it sounds so powerful because I got a big voice, but the big voice with all that notes going through there is the reason why it feels like that to you and to most people because of my training from Avery and Lil Jon them, man. I really appreciate them the most. And I remember one time, man, we was at a club called Oxygen where everybody would come back then. Too Short would come in and check out the band, Dallas Austin, the Brat, Jermaine Dupri, everybody would come and just hang out this one spot. And we would all sit and just listen. They would all sit and listen to us perform.
Mm.
I was a lead man. Me and this comedian named Zoo Man. Zoo Man could really rap his ass off. Uh, and we would alternate on the microphone. And I just happened to be on the microphone this night. And Too Short, was in the audience. He said, "Man, I want y'all to come out, man. Bone Crusher, man. I want y'all to come out, man. You bring the band out, man. I want y'all to do the remix of Getting It."
Mm.
I was like, "Getting it? Like, getting it, the record, getting it?" He said,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, man. I want y'all to come out and redo the remix, man." I said, cool. So we headed over to Oakland City, which was in Oakland City. He's from Oakland, but it's in Oakland City, Atlanta, which is closer to what Tyler Perry studio is now.
Mm.
So he we went over, we did the session. We went late, like 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm waiting for the first bus to come in. So I get back to the house. I got to get right back up and go right back to the studio. It's like 8 o'clock. So I'm not home long though. I'm home like maybe 2 hours, maybe. I'm about to go right back to the studio. It's gonna take me 3, 4 hours to get back to the studio because I gotta catch a bus, transfer, subway train, catch another bus. You know what I'm saying?
They don't know.
The
They don't know the
commitment and the
struggle.
struggle of an artist.
know.
Right. So I'm doing all that. So I'm coming home. I'm like, man, if I can get home, because I'm still scared of my grandpa, only person in the world I'm ever been scared of. If I get out to the house, I'm plotting the whole way back on the bus. If I can get back to the house, get dressed, take a little nap, go to sleep with my clothes on, and leave before old man get to the house,
I'll be good.
I'm good, right? Man, I oversleep. It's 8 o'clock. I said, oh, he gonna be coming in. I said, man, he ain't here yet. So I get up, and I brush my teeth, and I'm out the door. I'm out the door. As soon as I get out the door, I see him. I said, oh, man, shit, I gotta talk to this dude. He picked up the newspaper. You know how old people are. He out there talking to his neighbor.
Meddling in the
What's
yard.
happening, Miss Jackson? How you doing? How you doing? I'm just getting home from work.
That's at least 15, 20 minutes right there.
Right.
Neighborhood watch.
Right, neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch.
Right. I'm like, man, let me fly past him. Hey, where you going, boy? I said, I'm about to get on the bus. Word, okay, he said, word. Yeah. I'm talking
Like it current.
Yeah, like it's current. He said, oh yeah. He said that. Oh yeah. I said, oh yeah. He said, where you going? I said, once again, I'm not running, but I ain't the toughest motherfucker.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, man, I'm going to the studio. You say you going well? I'm going to the studio, Pop. Yeah, I'm going to the studio. I'm toughening up. I'm going to the studio. He says, huh. You know what time it is? I said, yeah, 8, 9 o'clock. I'm just waiting for him to cuss me out. So I'm just, you know, how your kid just kind of, hey, man, just go ahead. You go ahead and give me the thrashing so I can get it over with so I can get out of here. He said, your grandma wake you up? No. You got a alarm clock? Alarm clock wake you up? I said, no, ain't no alarm clock. So you trying to tell me your grandmama didn't wake you up, and it's 8 o'clock, and you ain't got no alarm clock wake you up? I said, nope. You might need to be doing that then.
Yeah, because that's that commitment. He's
said,
like,
I said, what? He said,
this young man taking this
yeah.
serious.
Right. He said, let me tell you something, grandson. He said, I'm gonna get your uncles off of you. I just wanted to make sure that you was as serious about this as you profess to be serious about this. He said, your investment in this seems to be very sound. I said, yeah. It's sound, I guess. Yeah. He said, you need to be doing that. I said, for real? He said, yeah. He said, you've taken everything I've thrown at you. Everything I've tried to stop you, you wouldn't stop. I threatened you for kicking you out the house, your ass wouldn't goddamn stop. I told you that you couldn't eat no more in my refrigerator, your ass wouldn't stop. And I thought that was going to be the one to stop you. Because you was a big boy, you like to eat. I said, yeah, I like to eat, I like to eat. He said, let me tell you something. He said, you should be doing that. Don't let nobody stop you. Don't let me stop you. Don't let your uncle stop you. Don't let your grandmama stop you. Let nothing stop you from doing this. This is what you're meant to do. And I sat there, man, and I said, wow. Let me tell you something. Don't know Grammy mean shit.
Mm.
Don't know American Music Award mean shit. Though none of this shit mean nothing to me. The only thing that means anything to me till this day is that my grandfather told me that I was meant to do this and that I
Mm.
should not stop. That is the ultimate reward for me, right? Nothing. I don't care about none of this stuff. All this stuff I be getting, whatever, I don't care about none of that stuff. As long as when my grandpa told me that I should not stop this ever. I should never stop. He said, don't let nobody stop you, right? And and then he gonna say, hey man, you need some, yeah.
Wasn't expecting
Yeah,
that.
I was
Yeah,
like, what?
I could
I was
use a
like,
few.
yeah. He
I
said,
could use
hey
a
man,
few
here,
coins.
take this money. He said, you on your way. You're on your way. It's gonna take you a long time, but you're gonna get it. I said, you know what's so crazy about that is that my grandpa, the only guy that really backed me like that, other than my dad was another one, man. My dad, although he was going through whatever he was going through in his head about what he was dealing with my, you know, with his relationship with my mom, my dad always supported me the best way he could, and that's by not stopping me from doing what I wanted to do.
Mm.
Anytime I wanted to get some type of relief from my mother's side of the family, I would always go to my dad's side of the family, and they were always, the Hartnets would always tell me that I should be doing this. Like I
Mm.
should always be doing this, man. And you know, I really appreciate my dad for just like supporting me that way, right?
Mm.
My dad was always like, "Good, you can do it." Yeah, I'm telling you, do that. Yeah, you good at that. So I've never had, most kids have like horror stories from their parents, like their parents ain't shit, never did nothing for them, and never, you know, or they have the other side of the story where their parents did everything for them, but didn't support them
Mm-hmm.
inside their dream or whatever. Wanted them to go to some school that they didn't go to school. They never would. I know I don't have those stories. What I do have is a lot of support for commitment. Because I was committed to it, I got a lot of support from my family and from my cousins and from my uncles you know, and I really appreciate every last one of them. And that's something that I could never buy or receive any accolades for that, right? And that's the key to this, right? My parents and my cousins and my uncles and my family, they were very supportive of me when I was a kid, when I wanted to be who I wanted to be. Now they made sure that I was dead serious about it on my mom side because at the end of the day, I understand it as a parent now. You want your kids to be committed to something,
Yes.
whatever that is. I don't give a shit what you do, as long as you love what you do and you're passionate about it, you care about it. But
And see it through.
I see it through,
Absolutely.
right?
And finish what you start.
Yeah, finish what
Finish
you
what you
start. That's
start.
something my grandfather said too.
Mm-hmm.
You finish what you start, son. Whatever you
Mm-hmm.
start, you finish. And then if you want to move on, you can move on, but you got to finish it. Then you can move on to the next task. But that helps you understand what it takes, all the knots and the pain and the triumph over that and get the ultimate victory. You got to work hard to get it. And if you don't work hard, you're not going to receive it the right way.
Mm.
If I give it to you easy right now, you're gonna be soft, boy. I'm like, yeah. In my head, I was a kid. I'm like, man, please just give it to me. I don't, you know, But now I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I got it then, but I just still wanted it where I wanted it.
You still wanted it
Yeah, I
where
just
you
wanted
wanted it.
it.
From that, you had the support, especially from your granddad and both sides of the family.
Right.
When did you know? When was that moment? Was it on the stage that the people
Mm.
confirmed what that support was, what you had been hearing
Right.
all those years from the
Yeah.
band, going to the
Right.
studios, saying, I'm not going to do the carpentry. What was that moment when the people solidified it?
Oh man, that had to be. I can't remember the year or the date. I can remember the feeling when it was a crowd full of people that didn't know me.
Mm.
Told me I was dope. Told me I was good. Told me I was, and I never. And I'm gonna tell you what somebody
What
told.
song was it? What did you
It
perform
wasn't a
that day?
song. It was me
Up-
on stage freestyling.
Oh, it was a freestyle.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
freestyling, and I knew I had something because when I got off the stage, people were asking me for my autograph and wanted
Mm.
to take pictures with me and tell me how good I was. I always judge it by that. Even now,
Yeah, you
Mm.
do.
even now, like even though I got a hit record, I got some other stuff, other songs I'm done with other people that's hits. I just when I get on stage, it's brand new every time
Mm.
because I have to show and prove to the audience that I'm worthy of your admiration. I'm worthy of you paying your money to come and see me. I'm worthy of everything that I am that you're there to see,
Mm.
right? And I've been around hostile crowds all my life. So if you ain't no good, you deserve to get booed, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon my French.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't no damn good. You I don't care who you is. Man, you crazy. Right? So,
That's one thing I love about our people. We
Oh,
gonna tell
yeah.
you if you're
oh
good,
yeah.
and we gonna show you if you're
Yeah.
not.
Right. We're gonna let you know immediately
Yeah.
that you ain't goddamn, you ain't shit. I don't care who you is. It could be Michael Jackson. You have a bad night, nigga. We're gonna let you know.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
God rest
true.
his soul. But you know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Yes.
It's that's the key though. Like when every time I get on the stage, I'm going to command the crowd to understand that I'm here for
Mm.
business, right? I'm going to let them feel the energy of my compassion and my drive and love for what I'm doing, right?
Mhm.
And that in turn usually transfers into something great in the room.
Mm.
I have yet to be booed since I can remember. Booed? I ain't never been booed. I've been booed in the beginning of my career, and I deserved it. I was horrible. Standing in one place, not moving,
Standing in one place.
like don't understand
Like the
how to
artists do
control.
now.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. Don't know.
That's called performing now.
Exactly.
Right.
You don't have to
Standing in one
move.
place.
Right.
Lord.
Man, I just don't. I don't. I've always. And then you know what's so crazy for me, man? My practice for so many years on stage with the band and practicing with the Chronicle. That's the band.
Mm-hmm.
For all those years, really helped me a lot to understand the differences between crowds too.
Mm.
Knowing this crowd, I would always go to the show, and I still do. I would go to the show before the show, feel the crowd, feel the energy,
Mm.
see what's going to happen. My show is dictated by how the crowd feels.
Mm.
If the crowd is a younger crowd, I'm going for that. I'm gonna do that whole young vibe feeling. I'm gonna give them a little bit of me and a little bit of what they like, and then we're gonna have a good time. If it's somebody of our age in hip hop, now hip hop is in like its fifth, sixth generation now, and
Right.
being in those generations, that means that hip hop is a vast thing like R&B and country and soul and all that. It has variables, right, of
Mm-hmm.
crowds, right. You got the young people now, the Gen Zs, and you got the Gen X, which is we are, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like we have this thing that I go in, I look, pay attention. Okay, okay, okay. Bro, these motherfuckers tonight. How we
Mm-hmm.
gonna have some fun this evening?
Mm-hmm.
And I sit and I listen, I marinate, I be quiet. Everybody be looking at me like, man, is he asleep? Is he drunk? What's wrong on with him? Nah, man, I'm just vibing. And Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson's a Virgo too.
Yes.
He
Yeah,
sure
So,
is.
absolutely.
so we have a different kind of synergy when it comes to filling the room with people. Like I feel people differently. I want to feel the compassion, and I'm just going to vibe and sit here. And if I could just sit here and just listen to the tempos and the energy and the noises from here and there, and I can get all the way in. And I'm all the way in. By the time I hit the stage, I don't perform about 50 times,
Mm.
right?
All
And
in here.
right, it's all in the head. It's all there. And I'm ready for war. When I get on stage, I'm ready to go to war with somebody.
Mm.
So just show you motherfuckers I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Right? So, it's a space of total, combat between me and the crowd in a fun way.
Mhm.
Right? I just did a show in Charlotte and I perform the same whether or not it's 50 people or it's 90,000 people at MetLife Stadium. I'm going to rock regardless. Ain't nobody going to be sitting down and ain't nobody going to be just standing still. We just ain't going to have that. You didn't pay your money to come in this motherfucker to sit still, did you? Let me come out there and swag surf with you, baby. I'll come all the way out this motherfucker. Fat man is coming. They be like, man, look at this motherfucker. It's crazy. Yeah, man, what the hell y'all coming here for? Let me tell you something. I tell my people all the time, I say, man, listen, we go through too much pain, too much hurt, too much fucking let down to come into a place, spend your money and sit your ass down. Man, let it go. Release the energy, release that negativity in here. This is the sanctuary of greatness in here.
Allow
We go-
yourself to feel
Right.
joy.
Allow yourself
Absolutely.
to have fun, man. Shit, why not? Get lost for an hour, 2 hours in here with me. Let's have some fun. And then when you leave, you go
You
to
can
the
go
movie.
back to the BS
Yeah,
if you
you
want.
come back to the BS you want to, man.
But 9 times out of 10, you won't want to.
Right.
Because that energy
Takes
is
you
in
over.
you now, that
Right.
feeling of joy, that
Right.
escape.
Right.
Take us to the recording of Attention.
The album?
Yes.
the-
Did you know you was creating magic at that time? Was there a feeling during the recording of that album that this
Yeah.
is the one?
Yeah. Like, yes, because we were in the it's like when you're working out all the time, you know, after a while, you don't feel no more pain. You just sculpting, right?
Mm.
You got your muscles all together, your brain, everything is all six packed up. You just working out. And then someone says, man, did you know you was about to become Mr. Olympian? Yeah, no. I was working hard toward it, but I didn't realize how good I was because you're in the moment, right? So if I'm around greatness all day long and we do another great thing, I'm just kind of like, yeah, this is another one. Yeah, we having some fun with this. It became effortless for us, right? And I became I won't say numb to making records all the time and numb to making music all the time, but I became so one with the synergy of music that everything I thought I was doing at that time felt good to me because it was feeling good. You gotta realize we were rocking crowds with songs that nobody knew, right? So if I'm rocking you with a song that you don't know, that gives me a different kind of vibe in my head. I'm like, man, everything, and it's warranted not from arrogance, but from study, musicology, work, hard work, putting in the time, right? And I never was arrogant about it at all. I always was like, man, I'm just here for the music. Never was in it for money. No, none of that. Never that. But the making of the album started with um it started with Never Scared, actually, to be quite honest with you. Avery, Avery Johnson, who produced Never Scared and Gripping the Grain, stayed two. This is what I mean by ordained. Things are meant to be. Avery stayed 2 houses down from me in Atlanta, right? And me and him were always vibing on something. Avery would drive me back and forth. He picked me up from my apartment at the time. We ride to the club. He set up. We do the thing with the Chronicle at the club at Oxygen or Yin Yang. Then we would leave. We would ride back, listening to more music, vibing on whatever. And Avery had a BMW 7 Series, 4-door. got from working. I
Mm.
said, yeah, man. I said, man, I can't wait to get one of these, man. He's like, boom, man, you get something better than this, bro. This motherfucker won't stay out the shop. So I was like, man, your head crazy. So I was surrounded by guys that were doing it, but they weren't flossy like that. It was more like, spoils of labor,
Mm.
right? And, that was one of his spoils of labor. He bought himself a BMW and he would just pick me up and take me to the club. We'd come back or whatever. And he'd be like, yo, Bone, man, man, we need to work on some music, man. I said, yeah, let's do some shit, man. Let's work. And he called me one day. I was sitting out there on the porch, man. I was trying to figure it out. I was working at Waffle House, man. I was like, man, this shit got to give. I had got to a point where I had my daughter at that time. And having my daughter changed my trajectory a lot because I had to figure out how to take care of someone else that I brought into the world that wasn't responsible for their own life. It was my responsibility. So I had to figure out how to feed this young girl, my young baby. And so I had to start working. So I started working at Waffle House. I worked there and I was like, man, I'm running out of money, and who was staying with my ex-wife's mother at the time, didn't have any bread. Shit was getting crazy. And this is how life is meant to be the way it's meant to be. Once again, this guy stays 2 houses down from me.
Mm-hmm.
So ain't nobody picking me up. I got to go somewhere. I can walk to this dude's house. And he called me. He said, Bo, man, I got this record, man. Come on over here, man. Tell me what you think about it. I go over and he played this beat.
Mm.
The first time I ever seen Pro Tools because Pro Tools was laying around back then. We was all on ADATs, 2-inch reel. And I was like, man, I said, how we gonna record it? He said, man, he said, I'm on this thing called Pro Tools. I was like, man, I ain't never heard of that. He said, yeah, man, trust me, it's better than ADAT shit, and it sound better. It's digital. I was like, all right, cool, right. He said, tell me what you think of this. And he hit play on it, and the beat came through the speakers. And I'm like, man, that fucking bass line driving.
Feel it all through your body.
Right. Crazy part about the record is that I was in a session with the Young Bloods, not even like maybe a day or two before that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had wrote a hook to a beat that they had going at Big Oomp House. Shouts out to Big Oomp and the Oomp Camp. And I was like, yo, man, this hook might fit this goddamn beat. But I did another hook. Avery reminded me like a month or two ago. What was more than that, about 3 or 4 months ago. He said, man, you had to put another hook on it first. And I was like, yeah, it's all good. Obviously, it wasn't shit because I don't remember doing the goddamn hook because the hook was goddamn
But
whack.
Avery
Or
remembered.
was it another track? It was another hook.
Yeah, it was another hook on that track, on the Never Scared track.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, oh, okay. I said, I don't remember. I said, yeah. Because he didn't say what it was. And I was like, yep, that sounded like what I was on back then. So I said, but I got this other one. And now when I did it, I was like, man, I don't know what was in me at that moment when I said what I said on that motherfucking track. Not to be cussing, because I can do better. What I said on that particular song, man, I felt like everything that was hurting me, I was going through, I put on this record. And it all goes back to the beginning. Everything that I worked hard for, everything I was told I was supposed to do, everything I was told that I couldn't do, everything I was told that wasn't going to be. And then to have my grandfather tell me that it was all just a test to see how strong you are. That was my perseverance time right there at that moment in that goddamn booth to say what I felt. And it was more than just me cussing, talking about going outside the club and you think I'm a punk. That whole time, I'm feeling like the world is against me and I'm going to show you mothers that I'm not motherfucking scared. I'm going to show you that I'm going to get this shit at all costs, motherfucker. There ain't nobody going to stop me, right?
And the world felt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And felt it now.
Right.
Feel it right now, just like that. We knew it was more than just the imagery of the lyric.
Right.
It's very clear there's something more profound being said.
Right. Right.
And that's why I think Never Scared took off like a rocket. It was felt.
Yeah.
Whether you were in the Bronx, whether you was in Watts,
Yeah.
whether you was in Chi-Town,
Yeah.
Austin,
Yeah.
Miami, you felt it. You understood. He
Yeah.
not just talking about that.
Right.
There's something else going
Right.
on. And
Right.
and we thank you for that.
Oh man, I appreciate it. You know what's so crazy, man? I thought the record was so violent, and I got a lot of flack from the record in the beginning, but because it was so violent, right? And it was like, but only a few people was like that. Everybody else is kind of like. I remember, man, like people coming out of jail, people coming from heartache or pain or whatever, would come up to me and be like, "Yo, man, that record, man, got me through a lot." I was like, "What do you mean? My record? Yeah, man, that record got me through a lot, man. Like, I felt that, man. Like, man, I ain't scared, man. I ain't scared." So nobody would ever hear, "I'm outside of the club and think I'm a pawn. So I go to my loaded tech 9 that's all in the trunk." I told that mother, all they would hear that part. I told the motherfuckers, I ain't never scared.
That was an anthem.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Literally.
right.
In so many people's heads as they go into the office.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Might be going to
Right.
court.
Yeah.
right.
Might be going to get a
Right.
procedure done.
Oh.
Yeah.
It fits so
Everything.
many authentic
yeah.
scenarios
Yep.
in life. So even though we knew the Uzi part,
Right.
and could relate, but it was the other part.
Yep.
Right,
It was a march behind it,
right.
a
Right.
diligence behind it.
Yeah, it
That-
was.
That's why people were coming up to you and saying, that got me through A,
Right.
B to Z.
Right.
That's why.
You know what's so crazy, man? I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. That whole album was a testament to what I was feeling at that moment in my life. Like even the first song, which is Locked and Loaded, that whole record is like, fuck all this talk, stop all this intro shit, start the music. Boom, 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 boom. And these fuck niggas, they don't want to care about this South shit. Man, when I tell you, that whole album from beginning to end, I did that whole album in 3 weeks.
Wow.
The whole album,
Wow.
the whole album from the beginning to the end in 3 weeks. I had no choice because Never Scared was blowing up so big. So my label, Break 'Em Off, shouts out to Dan Brown, and So Def and Arista were like, we need an album ASAP.
Now.
I was like, we need an album now. I was like, oh God. So me and Avery and L Rock got in the studio. We did a whole album in literally about 3 weeks to it was. And I tried to put everything that I was in or on at that moment in my life on that record. And I've been talking about revolution and love and compassion and overcoming since birth. And to be able to not to be able to put the album together like I wanted to was disheartening, but it was necessary for the moment of time that it was in. So when I go back and listen to that album, I'm like, man, like if you go through the album, I got songs like The Wall, which talking about oppression and overcoming the oppression and being put down and all that. Even Hate Ourselves is talking about, with the Goody Mob, is talking about, us not understanding our purpose in life and who we are as a people and why we don't like ourselves as much as we should, because we're the golden people of life.
Powerful message.
Right?
Absolutely.
But that never got heard because
I'm outside.
I'm outside of the club. You think right? So it's like But what I did was I told myself I would never do another album that I really wanted to put out. I put out some stuff around a few things out, but it really wasn't. It was just like survival stuff. Work on this project, that project. just to showcase my style and who I was, but nothing too serious for me. But I told myself if I was ever gonna put out a real album, a body of work,
Mm.
it would be the dopest shit I ever made in my life, right? And some of the greatest music that I could ever compose from some of the greatest musicians that I could ever acquire to be a part of the project. Lyrically, the hooks would be amazing. The harmonies would be solid. And I started working on the album in 2004. I just finished the album. It's
Wow.
2024. That was 20 years ago. I've been working on the same album consistently for 20 years. I'm
Mm.
finally done with it. I think the body of work is some of the greatest body of work I've ever acquired and it would ever put together, and something that I could definitely showcase to the people in a way that makes everyone feel good in the jamming groove of synergy and energy for the power and the embodiment of greatness for our people. That's what I've always wanted to make. And I can't wait for people to hear it. The first record you'll hear from me that I did that's not on my album will be away from my album will be my family Diamond D did a record. We did a record together, which is a connection between New York and Atlanta. And it's called My People, which is a
Mm.
monster record. I'll let y'all hear it before we leave. It's a monster record. It has the same energy as Never Scared, just ain't got no cussing on it.
Mm.
You said Diamond D is your family?
The Diamond D, oh, family like us and brothers and
Oh,
sisters
okay.
family.
All right. Okay.
Not cousin blood. No, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
We
yeah.
all
no.
Yeah, yeah,
cousins.
yeah.
Well, we all cousins.
family. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
We
We
all
all family. We
family.
all
Yeah,
uncles and nephews
yeah.
and aunties.
Shout out to Diamond D,
Yeah,
though,
Shout
man.
out to
Diamond D,
Yes.
man.
You
Diamond
know.
D.
The DITC, digging in the
Yeah,
crates.
a lot of
Absolutely.
people don't know about Diamond
Right.
D,
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
I
Yeah.
believe that it was the movement that you spearheaded with Little John, the
Mm-hmm.
Yang, all those brothers that came along with that movement
Mm-hmm.
introduced the world to a very young T.I.
Right.
It did.
Yeah.
Because before that, we weren't aware,
Nobody
not
knew.
us all the way up here.
Right.
We
Mm-hmm.
weren't aware.
And Tip
Right.
says it all the time.
Yeah, Tip says it, yeah.
But you would do that on your interviews too.
Yeah, I would. I would. And to your point, thank you for saying that. To your point, when I was up, I knew that once again, I knew that it took a team of people to create greatness. I wanted to show that Black people could work together, those that deserve to work together, and those that understand what it looks like to be a
Mm.
team. We could work together as a people and have fun together and make money together. So it took everything for me to, well, it didn't take everything. It's just my nature
Mm-hmm.
to sacrifice my own career for the betterment of Atlanta and for the betterment of my southeastern part of the United States. Um, I was determined to make sure that everybody knew who John was. John already was all out though, but who Tip was, who Killer was, who David Banner was, who the Yin Yang Twins was, who the Young Bloods were. I was determined to make sure that in every interview I was mentioning um, them in some capacity, along with myself. A lot of times people are like, yo, Bone, man, so what's going on? I said, man, everything's good, man, but make sure y'all look out for Tip. Y'all look out for Killer. Y'all look out for David Banner. Y'all look out for Yin Yang Twins. It's going to be crazy, man. This South shit real, right? So much that we end up doing a cover together for The Source.
Mm-hmm. Shout
And
out to the
yeah,
source.
and I ran into
Hip Hop
Kim,
Bible.
right, right. And I ran into Kim, the lady that did the actual article at the BET Awards last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to her about it. She was like, "Oh yeah, that's right." I said, "Yeah." She was the one that stepped to me about it, and John and Banner about it, about doing the cover because we were so together on everything at that moment because it was necessary for the Atlanta, it was necessary for the South, for us to be together. And they were great friends, and we wanted to make sure that people realized the South had something really, really going on.
I've had something to say.
That part too. Yeah, but we definitely had some things that we were on, man. And I wanted to make sure that I was really the spearhead for all that. I wanted to make sure that people, not to toot my own horn, but I was making sure that everybody was good, for real. I was getting people jobs. I was getting them work. I was making sure they could, you know, hey man, you should do this concert. Hey man, make sure you hire this guy to do the concert. All right, boom. At the time, only person that was bigger than me was 50 Cent,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I took all of my up top power I could, little bit I had, and I wanted to make sure that everybody in New York, New Jersey, whole tri-state knew that we had something coming, and we respected hip hop, right? For many years, I've always thought the separation would be a problem for our people. It's always been that way,
Mm-hmm.
that we never respected, that people didn't respect each other. And the first thing I would always do in my interviews, I would always say how I respected the founding fathers of our music. Um, I would go all the way back, Grandmaster Flash, Furious Five. I go with the Funky Four plus one more, and I go all. I'm going all the way back, right? Sugar Hill Gang,
Mm-hmm.
Run DMC, and that's to me was what it was all about, and that's what got me to where I am, man. Shouts out to Curtis Blow.
Mm.
What's crazy, man? Mr. C brought me was the first person. DJ Mr. C was the first DJ to bring me to New York to perform, man. And shouts out to him, man. He was like, "Yo, this record, bro, is crazy, man. You gotta see how people go crazy when I play
What
it
was
in the
that
clubs.
like?
It was insane. I was so shocked, because we had this perception in Atlanta that New York people didn't like us, right? Which was a fucking lie.
Yes.
Like black people shit.
We
Exactly.
do.
Me and her went back and forth about this earlier.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
And
We
I
had-
was
did.
trying to explain to her that wasn't the case. It was a perception that somehow was been put out there,
Right.
and it's played in hip hop all the way to this day.
Isn't
They
that
Right.
crazy?
try to keep us
Separate.
separated or
Right.
something. It's the New York hated the South or something like that. Like that is not true. You know
No,
what
it's
I'm
not
saying?
true at all.
I said we always appreciated that music that came from there. If it's good, it's good.
Good.
You know what I'm
That's it.
saying? If it's good, it's good.
That's
You
real.
know, and that's what it was. And A-Ball MJG.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Legendary.
The Dayton family.
Right.
Just did a documentary.
Yeah,
We did a
exactly.
documentary on Dayton
Come
family.
on, yeah,
Nice.
Shoestring.
yeah. It's so many groups I could go on and on. What's my guy name from Pimp C and
Oh yeah,
Bun B?
UGK,
You know
UGK,
what I'm saying?
UGK, yeah.
Oh, legends,
Legends.
you
Right.
know.
Absolutely.
Soon as you heard them, you knew they were legends. It's
Right.
just that we wasn't exposed to a lot of the music.
Absolutely.
You know, I was like, what I used to do was when I would be in Georgia, I would drive around and I would play all the New York music
Right.
because they didn't know. They didn't in 1990. I try to explain that in 1995, 96. They didn't know who Mobb Deep was.
Mm-mm.
They didn't really know who
Not like that.
Nas was.
Yeah.
They didn't. They didn't hear Jay-Z until he did the song with Pimp C. You know, and the Big Pimpin'. So it was that we wasn't exposed to a lot of each other, and then you
Right.
had somebody painting some type of picture that they don't like y'all up north, and and that was a terrible narrative that I think is painted to today.
Right.
Master P whole movement was like
Whoa.
we loved Bout It. We
Yeah.
loved all of that. We loved especially my Texas boys, my short guy,
Bushwick Bill.
Bushwick
The
Bill,
Ghetto
Oh,
Boys.
Ghetto
yes.
Boy. Ghetto
Mom
Boy.
playing tricks
Yeah,
on
yeah,
me, all that
Scarface,
stuff.
Willie D.
Scarface, Willie D.
Rest
We
in
loved
peace,
that
Bushwick,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Bushwick was my guy.
Right,
I
right,
had
right,
every
right.
Bushwick album. I mean,
Right.
that was, my guy. So I think that was just the narrative that was painted and been painted for a long time that, we shouldn't allow to happen. Is no one in New York that don't have family that don't come from down south somewhere. So
Right.
We all came from the
yeah,
South.
exactly. So yeah, it's a narrative that's kind of ugly.
Yeah.
And I think the radio stations definitely didn't show the support to anyone outside. Even if you was an artist in Jersey or Connecticut, you basically had to kick the door in of New York radio.
Right.
Because it took so long for hip hop to even get a place on the radio at
Right.
that time.
Right.
Hip hop was only being played at night,
Right.
for a very long time.
Right.
So we had to kind of elbow our way to get that little 2-3 hours on the radio, usually after 10 o'clock
Yep.
when the parents is already asleep. So as hip hop spread, it was almost like the radio stations were just being very restrictive. They weren't allowing anyone else that airtime.
Right.
And the movement in Georgia also had to kick the door open because those doors are well shut. It was
Absolutely.
almost like once they realized hip hop was here to stay, they were trying to confine her.
Right.
Okay, we only gonna allow this much in.
Right.
So the women had to kind of pry that open. That was the next move. The women had to say, "Well, we in here too."
That's right.
All right, we open it
room.
just a little bit more. We
Right,
open
right,
it
right,
just a
right,
little
right,
bit
right,
more. That's enough.
Right.
All right, well, we don't want to always dance all the time. There's real things going on. We got to change some of this content. We got content that's hardcore. All right, we'll just open the door a little bit more, a little bit more. And it's just little by little, but every style, city, and movement had to kick their way in. And you made a very good point. 50 was the only one being played at that time.
Right.
Nobody else was being played. You might get a little sprinkle, but there was I think Nas said it at the time that hip hop was dying. He actually
He said
had
it was dead.
yeah, well, I ain't want to go that far, but he did. He
That's
said
what he
hip hop
said.
was dead,
Right.
right?
But he didn't mean that. He just said that
No.
to get the conversation going.
To get the conversation
Yeah.
going because it was such a fight to keep her thriving, to not be this restricted. There's so much music, so much talent, so many messages that we not getting to hear here in New York, the home.
Right.
We not hearing it.
Right.
So, I can imagine what that was like to hit that stage in New York and see the love was authentic. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
real and it was waiting for you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yes, fine.
Right. Right.
We've been waiting.
Mhm.
Right. Right. They never seen nothing like me.
No.
You know what's so crazy, man? I give a lot of respect to the great DMX.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think
Rest in
DMX
power,
special,
DMX, one of my faves.
Right.
Wow.
I think DMX really cultivated the concept and the feeling of what energy felt like
Mm.
for New Yorkers, from not just a lyrical space, but from a I don't give a damn space. Right.
I'm not popping bottles.
Right. I'm not popping bottles.
Because that's what made X
The shit.
so, yeah, pretty much the shit.
Yeah, that
because
made him the shit. Yeah.
we was partying a lot.
Right.
Everything was popping bottles,
yeah.
Everybody was posing,
Yeah.
The shiny suit era, as they
Oh,
call
wow.
it.
Right, right.
And
That
when
shit
X
worked.
came on the scene,
Something new.
it was we had forgot.
Hmm?
Everybody ain't doing good.
Right.
Everybody not happy.
Right. That part. Right.
People going through it.
Right.
We forgot for a
Yep.
second. The music wasn't reflecting that anymore.
Absolutely.
It's not that we forgot. Music wasn't reflecting it
The real.
anymore. So I love that you brought that up because that's very true. Because
Right.
that's what Never Scared kind of.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
DMX, X was like, where my dogs at? Where my dogs at? Right? So he, to me, was like the point where New Yorkers and people from up north started really getting to a point where they started understanding that it's okay to be yourself.
Mm.
It's okay
Yeah.
to go through things. It's
Mhm.
okay to be this particular vibe and feeling in this particular time and space of your life.
Mhm.
It's okay to tell a motherfucker you feel bad. It's okay to tell a person you feel happy. It's okay to pray. It's okay to do this. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be hard. It's okay, right?
Mhm.
And people were really tired of the shiny shoot shit.
Yeah.
They really were. Like it was just over, right?
Yeah.
But it just had to be something so huge
Mhm.
that it had to tip
Knock it
the
out.
scale to where people were like, yeah, man, I really was tired, man, but I really ain't nothing else to listen to. There will always be, like it is now,
Mm.
it ain't nothing else to listen to, really, man. So I just keep listening to this shit, man. Please, somebody come with something.
Right.
Right?
Somebody.
Somebody, please, just come with something. Just stop it. Like I'm tired. Like at one point, I tell people all the time, it isn't that this music is whack.
Mhm.
By no means am I saying that. What I'm saying is that the overconsumption of anything becomes
Mhm.
mundane,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
So if I'm sitting here listening, if I'm eating vanilla ice cream,
Mhm.
right, today, tastes good as hell.
Mhm.
I got the best ice cream. I got me some Ben and Jerry's vanilla, blah 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 blah, straight vanilla. And I say, then a month to go by, and I'm still eating the same vanilla.
Mhm.
After a while, it's like,
Mhm.
but ain't no other ice cream. But I gotta have some ice cream because I like ice cream.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna eat this vanilla shit all day. So after a while, it's like, man, I'm so tired of eating vanilla ice cream. Can you add some chocolate to it, baby?
Mhm.
And the first person that adds chocolate to the vanilla is a genius. And he's gonna switch, or they gonna switch the whole perception of how ice cream looks. Oh my God, I didn't realize that was available. You mean to tell me you can put chocolate swirls into the vanilla ice cream? Oh my God,
Throw a little
Jesus
caramel
Christ.
on it too.
Okay.
Right. So that part,
Nice track.
that's what music and everything in your life is. It doesn't matter what it is. After a while, you get tired of the same shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you first come on the scene, this shit jamming. Like, oh man, this shit is amazing.
That's how we feel about drill right now.
Right.
We're ready for the change.
Yeah, it's
Time.
change. It's time
Now.
for something
It's time.
different.
We're oversaturated
Oh,
with
it's
it.
What is
so
your
bad.
thought about drill? Did you ever think that what's being put on wax
Hmm?
would lead to so much pain, convictions,
Right.
incarcerations?
The music, it isn't, I put it like this. It's
Especially because
corrosion.
you're a dad. You
Right.
both are parents.
It's
So
corrosion at a high level.
Mm,
I don't care what you're talking about
mm,
in your music, as long as it's a poetic thought only.
mm.
Meaning that we all, not we all, some of us have been into some very crazy shit at some point in our life, and we're
Absolutely.
just speaking upon it from a fictional reality space.
Mm.
Meaning that I'm poetically going to say some things that I may or may not have done so you can get entertained by it,
Mhm.
but I'm really not going to sit here. I'm really not going to the trunk and blasting a motherfucker in the front of the club. I'm really not doing that, dog.
Hence your queen's name, storyteller.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because we were telling stories in our
Right.
music.
So you're a narrator, you're a street, an MC is a street poet.
Right.
You are reporting on what's happening in the street,
Mm-hmm.
right? You may have been through some of these things, but you're going to report on it from a very, fictional reality space where, for one, you don't want to go to jail for some
Right.
shit, and for two, you don't want to go to get the motherfucker thinking you crazy as hell and you can't make no money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that this new generation has taken it a step further.
Mm.
If they don't think that it's real, that you really did it, then they ain't fucking with you. So you in a time now where everybody isn't about talent, it's about whether or not you did it or not. The reality is what it's really all about. Did you really motherfucking do some stupid shit?
Mm-hmm.
And did you really, and they could check it, right?
Mhm.
They check.
Did you put it on Insta?
Did you really put it up? Did you really say? Did you really do that? Did you really?
Mhm.
People are going to get to jail just so they can say on wax that they really did it.
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
Terrible.
We didn't want to go to jail.
Why? That was the best to jail. I ain't never been to jail. Knock on wood. Is any wood? Knock on wood. I ain't never been to jail. Don't want to go.
That means something went wrong.
That's
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
Man, I know a guy.
Yeah, what you doing?
That's
Right. Hey, right, you ain't good at what you doing. Right. I'm just about to say that. Man. Bruh, if your career path is a criminal, right? It's only the career part if you get away with it all the time.
Correct.
But if you go into jail every time you do something,
You
bro, you
ain't
need to
good at
change
that.
your direction.
Right.
You're not good at this.
This is not your
This
forte.
is not for you. This is not for you, dog. Do something else with your life, right?
Right.
And that's where, I don't care. I remember being a kid, so I know what it feels like for someone to tell me that my shit is whack
Mm.
and it ain't good, but the people of my generation like it,
Mm.
right? And they love it. I don't have a problem with that part of it because I don't particularly like none of these kids' music like that. It ain't for me.
Mm.
Some of it is. I like some of it, but the majority of it, I don't like, right?
Who you
But-
feeling? Who you feeling right now?
Who I'm feeling?
One or two people that you say, okay, I can mess with that.
I don't go too far in. I like a lot of people. I won't say no names because I don't want nobody to think that I don't like everybody else.
And they sensitive.
Right, yeah. Well, I don't care about them being sensitive. But what I do care about is I don't really go into the names. I go into the feeling of the vibe of the songs that
Okay.
they put out. Right? So I don't really be knowing all their names like that. I know a few of them because we work with a lot of them.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
what I do like are the ones that come with something creative that feels good, that feels like something that's amazing to them. And then they can relay that message to me, someone they don't know on wax. That's the key to being a great artist, being able to make music where I can feel it
Mhm.
and I don't know you.
Right.
And I'm like, man, who the fuck is this?
It makes you say, who is that?
Yeah, who
Exactly.
the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this shit? This shit's crazy, right? That's the key. What the kids aren't understanding is that when you do music, and you got to understand the power of the tongue. The
Mhm.
tongue is a very powerful thing. It's more powerful than a belt, more powerful than a bullet, more powerful than anything because
Mhm.
people are mentally into you now.
Mhm.
That's the most dangerous thing or the most amazing thing ever for someone to be into you mentally,
Mhm.
right? You get a motherfucker's brain where they like locked into whatever that you talking about. It's a wrap. It's a
Mhm.
wrap. So when you go to telling them motherfucker, kill everybody, man, blah, 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 and they know that you really mean that,
Mhm.
Going with.
they're going to do it. Most people are very influential, and they're in a space to where they want to be led. They want to feel a part of something. They want to be a part of the group. They want to be down with something, right?
Mhm.
And it's your responsibility as a human being to not hurt people when you have the ability to move them.
Mhm.
That
That's
is the
beautiful
key.
said.
Very well
Very
said.
well
Yeah.
said.
Do you feel so you would agree then that rappers are role models?
Absolutely.
I've been around so many of them and they argue with me about that. Tell your parents. So I said, we all have to be parents of our community.
Right.
We all have to set an example for these young kids out
Right.
here. Because yes, if you are setting forth music that they're going to hear, they're going to look up to you. If it wasn't for people like KRS One and
Yep.
X Clan and those
Yep.
type of people,
Yep.
I don't know, that helped shape so
Helped
much
me.
of my life as a youth.
Absolutely.
It sure did.
When I remember listening to KRS One and running back to the Bible and going to the encyclopedia,
I love it.
feeling proud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, I didn't, know this and studying this, and it changed my whole life. So I think now of the youth that's growing up that only get to listen, like you said, we won't name no names, but the rappers that only putting out this kill, kill, murder, murder, gang, gang music.
Yep.
So what are they going back to look up?
Nothing.
And going back there looking up to that.
Right.
And then we get out here in the street and then we end up with what we have going on right now. It's almost just like genocide to our people. One of the things I noticed that's going on in Georgia that I stay up with, without naming any names, it was more than one. There was a few rap groups that kind of getting taken down with the Rico thing
Yep.
out there.
Yep.
What's your feelings on that? I mean, I kind of like some of them their music, but it's sad that the stuff that you hear, that
Yeah.
that you hear that they was involved with.
Right.
Especially when you come from our generation, and we know the fight
Yeah.
against Congress, against some of our local politicians, that really tried to squash hip hop out,
Absolutely.
and we challenged them. No, it's not all bad.
Right.
It's art.
Right.
We're not all talking about the same thing. You can't paint us all with one broad
Right.
stroke, and we fought so hard for that.
Right.
And to see now, we can't really say anything because we're like, they talking about stuff that's actually taking place
Right.
somewhere, some space, some time.
I
So
think-
what are your thoughts?
I
I'm
think
sorry, I
social-
just had to throw that in.
No. I think social media has been a blessing and a curse for all people.
Mm.
What it has done has made it where people are accustomed to A, filming themselves all the time,
Yes.
B, not afraid to talk about what's going on with themselves all the time for clicks and likes. So when you're trying to compete for clicks and likes and for the attention of those clicks and likes, at some point, and you're not afraid to film yourself. I mean, when we were kids, you better not be coming up in here with no camera filming what we got going on in here. But, bro, what is you doing, man?
that
Fucker,
was-
you a snitch,
yeah.
nigga? Damn, what's your
Exactly.
crazy ass? Did you
Yeah.
lost your damn mind,
Yeah.
dog?
That's
Why
very
you
We ain't
filming
even
up in this
take
bitch?
pictures
You
back
crazy,
Didn't
nigga?
even take
We didn't even
pictures.
take
A
pictures.
lot
No
of the
pictures.
brothers
Yeah.
didn't
We
take
don't have
pictures.
Ain't nobody, boy, what is you doing,
Yeah.
right? So what happens is that social media has made it where our kids, and even some of these grown-up kids,
Mm-hmm.
have become so numb to being filmed that they don't realize that when you put it out in the world, it's forever.
Yeah.
You can't take it down. You can't put it nowhere.
No.
You can't do shit. That shit is out there.
And it could be
So
copied.
Forever.
even if they are dumb enough or naive enough, I would say ignorant, because I don't think nobody's stupid unless they do stuff over and over and over again and they expect different results. But these kids are ignorant. They don't know what they're doing. They're young. They don't realize what's happening to them. And what happens is that because of that ignorance, they become ruthless in it, because they start to think that they filming it, they thinking it's cinema, like they a reality show. Bruh, this ain't no goddamn reality show. It's reality. And when you
Right.
shooting yourself doing something stupid that's against the law, all you doing is snitching to the powers that be, and you taking the job that they would have to usually go in and investigate, talk to this
No
person, that
need.
person, this person.
You handing the
You handing
investigation
right
all of
over.
it to them.
Yeah.
If you are dumb enough, if you are in a space where you have to do something that is illegal or something that God forbid that you don't want to be doing, please don't film yourself doing it, right? I tell people all the time, I said, man, listen, bro, you first of all should not be doing nothing illegal. Don't do nothing that's going to cause you to go to jail. Don't do nothing that's going to get you incarcerated. Don't do nothing that's going to cause your life. Don't do nothing that's going to do this. But if you're going to do something stupid, don't film yourself doing it on live
And then share it.
and then share it with everybody in the world. What the fuck is happening here? Like, man, what are y'all doing? But they doing it for the false
Credibility.
reality of entitlement and resolution. They want to make it feel like they're doing something dope because they have to have it's narcissistic energy. You have to have social media has created more narcissists probably in the history of the world.
And giving the narcissist a vehicle.
And you're giving a narcissist that has been created from social media a platform. And what do we know about narcissists? They lack empathy. They lack sympathy. They lack understanding. They don't care about nothing.
Very
All
self-serving.
They're self-serving. All they want to do is just get what they want to get out of it and then scar and just keep going to the next thing. But what we also know about narcissists, they will crash and burn kamikaze style. You better not be nowhere around them because your ass gonna burn too. Right? Yeah. So to answer your question, to watch the young kids, the young guys in those courts going through what they're going through is very heart-wrenching and very, very difficult to watch. I don't even look at it. Every time I see it, I go right past it. Because I'm saying to myself, like, you have everything to live for. You worked hard for this. You don't spend all your money. You don't get all this time in the studio. You don't get all this hard work. And now you're going to got to a point where everybody is on you and you decide to do the same shit or worse or some stuff you didn't do in the first place to get there just to prove that you are who you say you are in these raps. Or in these songs. It doesn't make any sense because nobody cares at the end of the day. They're going to keep going about their day and they're going to laugh at you in the comments. Man, look at this fool, blah, 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 blah. Bruh, don't allow anyone to make you fall off of your worked hard for situation where you stand strong on. I tell young people all the time, every artist we ever work with is still working.
Nice.
They still at it. They still doing their thing. They learn. They say, hey, listen. I say, man, you got to make sure, man, your job as an artist is to get to the venue, get your money, and get back home safe. You got to get back home safe. That is your job. Everything else is garbage. Don't be up in the club balling with them. Man, these people don't like you. They up in there mad because you winning. Don't be up in there with them. Go to the club. If you got to go to the club, do your job, and leave. Talk to the people. Tell them how much you care about them and how much you love them. And then don't give them too much because your energy is overpowering to them. You're like in their space. Oh my God, I can't believe it here. I can't believe it here. I can't believe it here. And then the first time you say something because you tired and you up in their space and they want to take a picture and you dismiss them, because you tired, or you don't want to be there today because you hurting, your feet killing you, your back hurting, you've been on tour for 3 years, and you tired, and you don't want to do this no more for a moment, you're like, man, I just want to rest, I don't feel like talking to nobody, The first time you do that, this person don't realize that because they don't care, because they want what they want from you, because they feel entitled to you, because they've been in love with you mentally.
They feel they know you.
They feel they know you. You telling them everything about you. But some of these stories you telling them ain't all the way, you're telling them stuff that feels good because you're a poet. You're a street poet. You are commentating on what's happening. So when you start telling them how much you feel and what you're about, and love and power and whatever you own and whatever, and they start falling in love with you. And the first thing they do when they come to the club, what they gonna want to do? They're gonna want to get next to you. They're gonna want to take pictures with you. They don't want to harm you. They just want to be around you. Hey man, can you take a picture? I tell every artist, man, when you come out the house, your ass is on the clock. I don't care if you step 1 foot on that curb outside your house.
That's right.
As soon as you step outside your house, you on job. That's why they pay you so much.
Yeah.
That's why they give you all the attention you want. You work, you got it now.
You at work.
You at work now? What you doing? I take every picture. I sign every autograph. I don't leave the club until I do all that because I understand. I be tired as hell when I get on stage. I give everything I got on stage. I be woe the fuck out. Legs killing me, knees hurt, back hurt. I'm talking about, man, I be exhausted. I be looking around like, man, can I please leave this motherfucker? But I don't, because I know that this is what I worked hard for.
Mm.
And the fans are there for that.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to give the fans what they came for. They came for you. So why are you so upset? Because they love you. What the hell is wrong with you, man? That's what you worked hard for. What's wrong with you, woman? Don't you know that's what they came in here for? You don't work all this time. Ain't nobody like me. Nobody like me. Nobody care about me. Nobody love
Now
me.
they want you.
Now they want you. And now you mad because they want you now. They want you too much. Oh, man, God.
I want you too much.
Yeah, oh, God, I don't want to be around. You know why? Because you got all the money now,
Yeah.
right? You got all the prestige now. You don't
Not
got all
hungry
the
no more.
awards. Now it's boring because it's vanilla ice cream to you now. It's happening over and over and over and over and over again now. The shopping don't mean nothing no more. You done bought every goddamn Louis
ain't
Vuitton,
got nothing
Gucci
else to
Magan,
buy.
Double the Bum, Balenciaga. You done bought every goddamn Mercedes, Porsche, boat, plane. You don't travel around the world 40 times, all the passports all filled up. You done went through a bunch of women, and women done went through a bunch of men, and you don't get every goddamn thing possible. And you just keep doing it over and over and over. And you're like, oh, God, Jesus, I want to stop. Can we just stop the terror cell? You know why? Music is the most important thing because all that shit don't matter. Because as soon as you start walking away from what got you there, that's when it all comes down on you bad. You be like, oh God, man, Jesus, I don't want to be here no more. I hate these people. They don't want to hear my new music. They just want to hear my old shit. They don't want to hear the new album, man. They just want to hear the new stuff. But every artist feels that way. I want them to hear my new stuff. I don't want them to hear the old stuff. Bro, what in the hell is you talking about? What is you talking about, woman? Don't you know that you made that, right?
Right.
Yeah, I made that, but I want them to hear my new stuff, man. That's old. No, it ain't. It ain't old to them.
Nostalgia.
Yeah,
They love
It's,
it.
it's like the first time.
It's the first time, every time they hear it.
Nostalgia.
Every time they hear it. You don't want to hear it, but every time they hear it, it's the first time they ever hear it.
Yep.
And you getting paid for it handsomely. I'm talking about like lots of money. Man, I heard groups complain. I've heard female artists complain, male artists complain. Everybody's complaining because everybody wants something that they don't have. When you was broke, you wanted the money and prestige. Now you got the prestige. Now you just want to be a regular person again. You want to be able to walk through the Walmart and they don't attack you. You want to be able to walk through the mall, they don't attack you. Bullshit. You can't have both. You gotta
Can't have
have
both.
you gotta either go for it or don't go for it. And that is what's happening to them kids. They are now understanding that when you start putting yourself out there like that, what you put out in the world is about to come right back to your ass. So you got to be careful what you do with it. You got to be careful because your tongue, your energy, and your synergy is very powerful. When you are chosen, and I believe that artists that are artists, any speaker that has that drive and that vision, if they're chosen by the Almighty God of the universe, if they are chosen to be the spokesman for what they are about, they are responsible for the actions of that actual choice. So when you start talking about this and that, they're gonna believe you, dog. They're gonna believe everything you saying. The police gonna believe you.
They sure. The
Them
prosecutor
damn
gonna believe you.
dudes on the street gonna believe you.
The judge gonna
The
believe
DA,
you.
everybody gonna believe you, dog. Yeah. And then you start really catching bodies, or bodies starting. You might not be doing it, but bodies around you start collecting.
That's all that matters.
Oh no,
That's a
bro,
big mess.
man,
That's all
it
that
goes
matters.
out the realm of fantasy. Now we're in reality, and once you get into the reality of it, that's when it gets really dangerous. Like, oh man, you need to watch that, bro. I think it's and to answer the whole point about the drill rap or whatever kind of rap it is, I feel like I don't have no problem with anything that have to do with creativity, as long as that creativity doesn't damage you holistically in the end. That's what I'm talking about. And if it
Damage
don't,
others.
right, it don't kill you in the end, you win. Like man, it's so heart wrenching. I'll tell you this on another show. It's so heart wrenching to watch these kids get all the way up, man, make all that
Yeah.
money legally
Lose their life.
and lose their life at a club. Like, what's happening here, man? There's so many of them dying. It's like, think about how devastating to hip hop it was when Pac and Biggie died, got killed, right? You know how devastating that was to us because we never
I
seen
think we
that.
still are suffering
Right.
Oh, yeah.
from
we
the
still
PTSD
suffering,
because
man. Yeah.
20 well, this summer will be 28. This September will be 28 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And 27 for Big, 28
Right.
for
He
Pop.
died on my birthday.
Right.
I'll never forget it.
Look,
Yeah.
we
I
won't.
never
Pop
forget
died on
We
my
that
birthday,
day.
all
September
know
13th.
where we
September 13th.
were or what was
Yeah.
happening
That day.
the moment both of those life forces
Yep.
was taken, and within 6 months of one another.
Right.
So that's when we said, wait,
Has to change.
things are going
the wrong
too
way.
far.
It's going too
That's
far.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, emerge the shiny suits.
Yeah.
Right.
Happy time.
We gotta be happy
That's
again.
right.
We gotta
Something gotta happen.
party. We gotta pop some bottles.
That's
That's where the
right.
South came in too, though.
That's
And
really.
that's where the South
The
came in.
party
We wanted
came
to
in, a different
feel
kind
it.
of
We wanted
party.
to
Yeah.
party. We wanted to feel
Yeah,
good
man,
again.
you got-
It had
Yeah.
got
Hey,
too
man.
serious. So for us to see our children's generation now
Yeah.
take something so beautiful
Right.
and they are killing themselves with the music.
Yes, they
They're
are.
killing their minds,
Absolutely.
their spirits, their
Yes.
energy.
Yeah.
A lot of artists and musicians talk about the frequency of the music
Absolutely.
Mhm.
and how that's also very impactful.
It is a
Yep.
current.
Of the
It is.
reaction.
You're right. It's a current that they are on. It's a very downtrodden. Like on the keyboard, when you are like high notes and happy notes. Like if you ever listen to Never Scared, right?
Yeah.
Listen to the beat. Boom, 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 boom. It's happy,
Mm.
right? They don't have a lot of clashing in their music, meaning they are talking about whatever they're talking about down, right? Then there should be a clash. It should be happy up top with a hard driven verse on the bottom. If you listen to even with DMX's stuff, his stuff is the beat. Dun 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 one from a nigga. Do. He talking about some hard shit on that motherfucker.
Mhm.
But the beat is happy, right? So when you hear it, it doesn't the frequency and the synergy and the cadence, it doesn't feel downtrodden to you. It feels kind of like
makes a lot
inspirational
of
at that
sense.
point.
Yeah, it
feels
does make a lot
That
of
makes a
sense
lot of
because
sense.
I never thought about it like that. So when I was, living in Schenectady as a kid, growing up with predominantly rock and roll artists, I say,
Right.
yeah, they used to play this music that was kind of like devil worship music.
right.
And it was low.
Right.
There was something low. It would used to be like a low sounding thing to it. It wasn't, nothing was
Yeah.
upbeat.
Right.
And so when you say that, yeah, it makes sense that somehow that got put into rap music somehow.
Yeah.
But that's how the rock and roll used to be. The devil worship music would be real,
Yep.
this low thing.
Like your Marilyn
Yeah,
Manson.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Marilyn
like
Manson, yeah.
Marilyn Manson and all that would be very low. So, wow, that's
I mean, it's serious, man. Like it's a space of, and this goes back to the Chronicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding of happy and hard, right? Or hard and happy. It has to be either, because both of them don't work either. Happy sounds goofy to you. It's like a children's story at that point. Like I don't
Okay.
want to hear children's music unless it's a children's, like Barney and shit. I love you, you love. It doesn't resonate as, this is some shit I should be listening to. This is for
Right.
my kids to be listening to it, right? And it resonates with children because children are innocent and their energy resonates to that because they don't understand anything but ding 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 A B C 1 2 3. They like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you get older, your energy and your vibe changes in a way to where you start to like a different type of register, a different kind of cadence, a different type of synergy that goes through the notes. So you see things a little differently than you would as a child, right? As you get older, you want to see something different, right? You want to go up, you grow up, you grow up. And the difference is you ever listen, like I listen to Forever Trending Grooves. This is my shit. Anybody say it other than me, they lying. This is my shit. I made up my goddamn self. So when I mean about Forever Trending music, right? You ever notice when people be like, man, that's old. No, it ain't old. It's jamming now. Like you listen to some of them Stevie Wonder records, Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones. I can keep going. You listen to them records right now. When they come on, they hit you in the way it's like, God damn, that shit feels so good to you.
Feels good.
Like when you listen to
Yep.
like Anita Baker, if you listen to the way she's singing about, it's very serious what she's saying, but the music is so beautiful. It makes you feel a certain way. It makes you feel the way you feel when it happened to you.
Yes.
When she sings it, you're like, oh, hell yeah, man. Like, well, this motherfucker's going through something. But the music is so beautiful. Man, I'm telling you, think about Stevie Wonder. The reason why we like it so much now is because it's a register that never gets old to you because it creates two things in you at all time: nostalgia and euphoria. If it can create those two things in you, it will never ever get old to you because you'll always remember the time and it will always feel good to you. You I remember when, man, I was a kid, man, and this record was playing at a picnic, and I'm just telling you, man, it feels so good to me. Oh, let me tell you something. Till this day, I don't give a damn what's playing in the club, what's the new hot shit, whatever's out. When that shit goes off and they switch the set up, and that goddamn Michael Jackson come on.
Our
First thing a
kids love
motherfucker do is
that.
start dancing. It don't matter how old they is. They could be
And
12, they could be
it's
112. They gonna get
intergenerational.
Yep.
yeah,
Because
go.
you put on Rock With You, our oldest could rock to it,
Right.
our middle could rock
Yep.
to it, our little one could rock to it.
Mhm.
And you just brought up a very, very valid point about the music right now, particularly drill and the low frequency of
Yeah.
it and the responses to it.
Right.
What is gonna be the memory connected to those songs?
They don't have it. They don't
It's
care.
not gonna be anything that feels good.
No, they don't
Because
care.
if you're talking about mayhem, chaos,
Right.
unaliving, what's the feel good part?
They don't have
You're
it.
gonna go
No,
into
they're all
mourning
depressed.
of those that were lost
Yep.
during
Right.
that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that was the soundtrack
For that.
for that moment.
Yeah. Right. Right.
That's not what music should be for.
No,
We
it
have
should-
songs that do bring tears to our eyes,
Right.
but it doesn't spiral us into
Death.
no, it doesn't.
Right.
Spiritually or emotionally. It's not supposed to. You could visit that moment like, wow, I remember when that happened.
Right.
But like you mentioned, the high and the low, has to be a pickup at
Yeah.
some point. It
Mhm.
can't just be, I'm just gonna lay on the ground and that's just that. I'm just gonna stay here.
Right.
And that's to me is very sad.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the only difference between, like, even drill rap, right? We talking about drill. If drill had like happy tones on top of what they was talking about, man, that shit will be resonating with us because now you are creating a vibe that now transcends outside of what you are, and everybody in the world could feel it, right? I don't want to hear, even when I was a kid, I never wanted to hear double negatives, meaning that I don't want down, down, and I don't want up, up. I don't want it. I don't want it. I just don't. Every once in a while, you get a good down, down that might be good. You might get a great up, up that might be good, but it don't be like, it works for about 5, maybe a minute. but then it goes away, right? It doesn't feel the same way as unless those tones are in there. The tones got to be, the musicology has to be so sound and down, down, and up that that's the only way it really resonates with us. The reason why the South had won so big, that's why y'all like our music so much, is because we had two of those. We had the up and the down mixed together, right?
Absolutely.
So so when it came in, it was an earthquake. It changed the narrative. It shifted the narrative, right? And Never Scared, to what Kanye said, Never Scared was the shifter. It's the record that shifted everything towards that, right? Because of that. Because of that band, the Chronicle, is the reason why Avery Johnson, Little John Roberts, L Rock, Billy Oldham, Phil Davis, Kemet on turntables was the reason why that sound resonated with the world, because those guys were making happy, and we was rapping over top of that shit. Them motherfuckers was hip hop heads. All of them were hip hop heads. One was from Philadelphia, the other guys from Liberia, another guy was from Tennessee, another guy. All those cats were all young enough and wise enough in their musicology to know how to make the sound right and jamming at the same time. The pockets were crazy. You rapping over top of that, man, like, man, this shit crazy as fuck. I'm talking about all kind of shit on the microphone, but the beat's so lively and so up that it's hard to not feel it. Motherfuckers is jamming the records. I was saying it earlier, people were jamming to records they never heard before. Because it felt so good to them.
Felt
good. So when you get in a room with some motherfuckers jamming, shit, black folk like the groove, man. And if you can make a motherfucker groove,
Sure
Of
do.
course, definitely.
who the fuck is this motherfuckers?
You like to feel that,
Right, man.
Feel
Who
it
the
on
fuck
the
that?
inside.
You hear so much bullshit, when you hear some good stuff, you're like, oh, wait a minute, what is this? Man, the line used to be down. I tell y'all guys, the line used to be down the street 2 blocks to get in this club that could only hold 200 people, 300 people, solid.
They like, we getting in here.
Man,
If we got to stand outside in here, they would stand outside just to hear it.
absolutely. It was crazy. The vibe was crazy, man. And it was a whole sound like that, man. The whole Funk Jazz Cafe, Jason R thing. Everything was chocolate soul. All that vibe is what Never Scared came from. India Irie came from that. Organized Noise came from that. All of us came from that. Lil Jon's sound got more mature when he started working with this band. That's when you get Get Low, all these records that were huge, because it's a vibe there, and the musicology of what the greatness was on those sounds is all up here. All that's up. 369, damn. That song is talking about some crazy. That shit talking about fucking.
I know.
That means you're talking to me one more time. You're low, you're low, you're low. To the window, to the wall. Till the sweat drop down my balls. Imagine if that's down, down.
Right.
It doesn't resonate the same. So all these bitches crawl. Bam, 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 motherfucker. It's not, it doesn't have time.
Took all the fun out of it.
That's
It's
why
all the
Enya
fun.
works.
Yeah.
It's a high and a bass and a treble. That's why
Right.
Kane and D-Rock work so well together.
That's right. You're
Yeah.
right about that.
One screaming and one the bass.
One the bass.
Yep.
We come from that, right? That's what we come from. The generation after us is trying to create their own path, right? But the path is cool as long as nobody's dying. It's cool to have your own sound, your own vibe, your own thing you own. But when y'all start dying, y'all start going to jail, y'all start doing all kind of crazy shit. Y'all on drugs too bad. Y'all on synthetic drugs.
Y'all depressed.
Y'all depressed. Y'all all
Depression is real.
weird funk. But what's going on with y'all? Do y'all really like the shit y'all doing? I ask them all the time, man, do y'all really like this shit? Like, I'm not supposed to like it. It's not for me, but you supposed to love it. It's for you. And when you love something, you want it to be around for a while. But when you're fighting against something that you in and you don't see no way out, what the first thing you do? You fight your way up out that shit. And that's what's happening to our children. They are fighting them way, they're trying to figure out how to fight their way away from the foolishness that they done got themselves into. That's why you're having more and more deaths, more and more pain, more and more anger, more and more convictions. And it feels terrible. We watching it like, man, God damn, man, can we just.
It feels terrible to us.
Right. It's like,
And
why,
we're
man?
not even actively participating
Participating in it.
in it. We're
Absolutely.
witnessing it.
We're affected by it.
We're very much affected by it.
Yeah, yeah. It's heart wrenching, man. Like it's really heart wrenching. Story know this about me, man. I get very emotional when it comes to the kids and
Too.
Because this is our future.
Yeah.
If it keeps going the way it's going, because we
We have
all
kids.
want to quit working at some point.
Of
We want to
course.
be able to sit back and watch that next generation go ahead and
What do they
take the
think?
Take
torch,
over.
and take over. We're losing our musicians.
Yep.
Yep.
We're losing our artists.
Yep.
We're losing our teachers.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're losing our coaches. We're literally watching, the biggest threat to Generation X was incarceration
Yep.
and disease.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
That alphabet disease terrified
Right.
us.
Yeah, of
Right.
course.
Right?
Boy.
We were terrified.
Right.
Like, what? Everybody was crying. You started,
The
you know,
acronym.
somebody you might have dated a year ago, you see them, they cough, you like, oh
Yeah.
man, we were
Somebody
really-
lost 5-10
Yeah,
pounds.
don't lose
What the
no
hell?
weight back then.
What the
Oh.
hell?
The
Oh,
moment people
yeah.
start talking about you, they be like, you
Right.
you either had the alphabet illness or you was on the crack.
That's
it.
it. That's
One
it.
of
You're
They
right.
couldn't have been getting healthy. No,
You couldn't be getting help either way.
Nope.
Either way, it wasn't
something
right.
was wrong. You couldn't win. So, when we're now, at the age where our parents were when they were watching us and hip hop as a young person at the time, we're like, what's going to be left? What's going to be left?
Mm.
We're losing so rapidly. When the life force of Pac and Big left this world, it scared us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't want, I don't think there was more after. A few people went to prison. A few people might have got shot. But people weren't unaliving. We kind of
Right.
fell back from it. Like,
Absolutely.
whoa, this
Right.
went too
Yeah, it went too
far.
far.
It went too
Yeah.
far. We didn't embrace it. We didn't cheer it
No.
on because it became so real.
Right.
As you said, they want the reality.
Right.
Mhm.
That the focus even isn't on the music. The focus is on how authentic can I make this?
Yeah. It's definitely
I
like
got
that.
the money now.
How do I think about to make myself?
How do I make this real? You
Yeah.
know? And they gonna reel themselves right out of the opportunity, reel themselves out of their
Gonna
freedom.
go away.
And then what's gonna be left? So I'm hoping we see a turnaround, and I hope we see a turnaround very soon.
It's a lot of, what the crazy part about it is there's a yin and yang to that because there's a lot of young artists that are out here that are very lyrical, very inspirational,
Mhm.
very spiritual. And the great thing about, I say it's always a great and it's always a good and a bad, but the great thing about social media is you could find those artists that you're looking for. Like I found one today I was listening to
You
on the way
did.
up here,
Yeah.
right? And the guy's name is Norman Sams, I think his name is. I might be saying his name wrong. I won't say his name wrong because I want to give him his props. I literally just found him on Instagram scrolling through. His name is Norman Sand. Look him up. He's
Yeah,
pretty
feel
good.
good.
Come up, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Fine.
pretty good,
We're
man.
gonna
He's
look
pretty from
him up.
Houston. And I literally yesterday I was on Instagram, and because of my algorithm, I'm looking for different artists, and he popped up. I went on his page. I saw it. I said, "Oh man, this is dope." I wonder if he got an album out. Sure and behold, he got an album out called Pressure. I checked it out. I said, "Oh, this shit is dope." I got down through it. I said, "Oh man, I can see where he's going with this. This is no, he's very lyrical, very spiritual, very, it's like, oh, okay. There's always, for the only problem we're having as a generation before them is that because we're so close to them,
Yeah.
because we're all hip hop.
Yep.
It's not like our parents, like we said, our parents know
Right.
what
They
the
was
hell hip hop
attached.
was. They didn't give a shit about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? They Gladys Knight, Stevie Wonder,
Yeah. Luther
they're in that
Vandross,
generation.
Right.
Luther
Patti LaBelle.
Vandross.
Patti LaBelle.
Yeah, they don't give a
Dionne
damn.
Warwick.
Yeah. That's real talent. They
Yeah,
ain't lying.
yeah.
That is real talent.
Yeah,
right?
that was a bunch
right,
of noise to us.
Oh,
to
right.
them,
That's
what
just, that's
we
what
was
y'all
doing.
doing.
Yeah.
Noise.
Okay.
Get out of here, man. Get out of here with the garbage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't argue about, we can't argue about Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson. Okay, you right. And then but I like what I like. Sorry, mom and dad, right? But we are different. We are hip hop. So our generational gap is not available. I like some of the drill rap just like I like Stevie Wonder. So I'm in the world with them. I have just as many followers or more than the average rapper does. That's out right now. The Gen Zs do. So I'm in a space to where I'm like, bro, I'm right here with you. So if I'm telling you that it feels a certain kind of way, it really kind of feels a certain kind of way. Because I ask kids all the time. I say, man, so what was the hottest shit last year? Oh, I don't even know, OG. I like, wait a minute, my nigga. You mean tell me, I hate to use the word nigga, but wait a minute, dog. You mean tell me that y'all into this music and you can't tell me what was not the artist, what was the hottest song last year for y'all?
It changed every time a new song came
it
out.
changed
Delete.
so much,
Bye.
right? It changed so much. You might find one or two of them that could tell you, but the majority of them be like, nah, I don't know, man. I don't, what y'all on now? Man, we on that new whatever it is.
Right.
Everything about them is new.
Yes.
Because everything is instant.
Instant gratification.
Everything is instant gratification.
Everything's instant gratification.
Everything's instant gratification. And the thing about it is that it's a lot of these kids, man, that they're just not on instant gratification. Majority of them are, but there are guys out here that really take their time, girls out here that really take their time doing their craft. They really working hard for it. They really care about it. And those are the artists we need to start talking about. Maybe it will help tilt the scale a little bit and we start talking about artists that do good music, that are always in the right places, never getting in trouble. We talk about them, man. I'm tired of talking about the negative shit. I be trying to figure out how to talk about the positive. Because we know the negative.
Let some light shine.
Let some light shine.
Exactly.
Let some light shine in this moment.
Let some light shine in. You guys have some really exciting business going on right now. This is a power couple.
All right.
Right here. They're working on some really exciting things.
Right.
Share.
What aren't we working on? No, go ahead.
No. Well, we have a lot of things going on. My album, I'm not first.
The masterpiece.
No, I'll jump in.
Okay.
Jump in.
Oh, I'm gonna jump
Come on,
in.
storyteller. Jump on in.
Story, well, I always talk about my girl first, but Story has a new single out now. It's called Anybody Looking, LOOKIN, Looking for Love. It's out right now on all platforms. And it's also backed by a good friend of ours, wonderful spirit and great person. Her name is Amy Schumer, comedian, actor.
You might have heard of her.
You might.
Yeah.
Family.
She heard a couple of songs that we submitted to her at her house. We're sitting down jamming, having a good time, and she fell in love with this one particular record that was by Story, and it's called Anybody Looking for Love, and it fit a scene in the actual show, and that's coming out.
And it's featuring Bone Crusher too.
Yeah.
He left that part out.
But I don't like Story can talk for herself, so I'll let her.
What do you want me to say?
You talk about
where you just left me hanging.
I didn't mean leave you hanging. I'm just saying.
I need a good transition right now.
Okay, so
where my transition
will the transition will be you talking about why the record is so important to you.
Oh, like what I was telling everybody.
There you go.
Yeah. It's long overdue. So I'm originally from Chicago. I've been doing music my whole life. Bone and I met at one of his shows from a mutual friend of ours. Her name is Felicia. And this was years ago. And from that time, it's been love and he's basically gotten me back on track of this passion that I've always had for music because I grew up in a musical home. I first recorded at 11. I had a lot of deals at 14, 15. So on the circuit, I was doing a lot in the city. And so after I got as far as I could go, I moved to Atlanta at 18. So I had a manager, everything was on track. And so life kind of took me in a different space, in a different way. And so when I met Bone 11, 12 years ago, that kind of got me back on track. And he kind of basically said, look, this is for you. You're an amazing writer. And that's actually how we met. We started working. And so Felicia hooked me up with him to do some writing because he was working on the album. And so that's how we actually connected. And we were very good friends. So for years, we just started cultivating these ideas and doing music and just recording and recording and recording. Mm-hmm. And so this moment to actually have something this monumental attached to, something that I can say I'm proud to release is everything, especially to do it with a person like Amy who really stands for our culture. She's an activist for Black women. A lot of the comedians, the Black female comedians, praise her secretly. Like we were in a meeting with a few comedians who were working on a show, and the girl said, "You talking about Amy Schumer?" We were talking about something, and she said, she's done more for Black female comedians than some of our own Black comedians. And I was like, what? And those are just things that you just don't know unless you having those conversations,
Unless you're in those rooms.
Exactly. And I can just, attest, the type of person she is for just the things that she's done for Bone and I. She'll literally take us out of our hotel. Where y'all at? Come here. You staying here. So to have the blessing of a person like that to gift their love to you is just and then to be able to work and do big things together and to be embraced and let it just be real, because in this business it's not a lot of human people. So I haven't been in the forefront of the industry. I've done a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I was a guide vocalist when I first moved to Atlanta for Red Zone and Tricky Stewart. I did a lot of stuff with Dallas Austin, so I was around a lot of the big hits, but I was the guide vocalist. I did background on Tamar's album. Me and T-Boz and Chili would do all Tamar's backgrounds. I did the Scrubs. Before the Scrubs, I was there when he built that whole beat from scratch. All the musicians that came in. So, I was in the fold of, this whole birthing of the South. And being from Chicago, you have a good energy, you got a good vibe, they let you in. So, it's good to be, in this space and finally able to show this other hat that most people don't see me wear. Because most people look at me and say, oh, that's Bone's wife, or, oh, she's the one that's going to handle the business, or, oh, because we have a consulting company. I don't know if you all knew that, but we have a consulting company, Crusher Consulting.
Crushing Consulting.
So we've been doing consulting for
light.
how many years now? About 8, 9 years. Mm-hmm. So we have a consulting company. It's called Crusher Consulting, and we do a little bit of everything from entertainment, from film, TV, government, local sector, public sector. Sports. So we're also the directors of culture and community affairs for Fan Control Sports, which is a $200 million tech startup league. Mm-hmm. And so their first sport was fan control football. And so in that sport they had, and it's 7-on-7, and it's really where the fans call all the plays. They vote all the coaches, they call all the plays. Right. It goes into the ear of the team, and then they actually run the play. Right. So
Madden Live.
Madden Live. Right. Yeah. So Johnny Manziel's a part of it. Terrell Owens is playing on there. Jamal Anderson owns a team. Drewski owns a team. Quavo from the Amigos. He owns a team. I know I'm missing a whole. Richard Sherman's a part of
Yeah.
it. It's huge. It's an amazing.
Amazingly
Amazing,
huge.
Yeah, they're entering their third season this year.
Yeah.
So
And
we've
it
been.
sounds like it's grounded in brown,
Oh yeah,
which
it's
is
really it's
really
a
nice.
really
Yeah.
to see it is just really like
Marshawn Lynch. You said Marshawn?
Marshawn Lynch is involved. Yeah, so it's really really cool. So
Drewski?
like yeah, Drewski's in there. So yeah, so we do a lot of consulting. We also A&R a lot of artists. A lot of labels call us to A&R the artists. We literally take them through a straight boot camp for like 6 months. Three
Right.
times a week. We
So
literally
needed.
yeah, we literally make them perform. Nope, do it again. Like 50 times. Do it again. Nope, do this. You missed that. So we've been busy doing a lot. We actually helped Lotto at the beginning of her career.
Yep.
We're working with Asian A now. She's with Break 'Em Off, who also where Bone was signed when he
Absolutely.
released Never Scared and Attention.
Look how
So a
that
lot of the
comes full
artists from
circle.
Break 'Em Off, we sit with them and and mold them.
Yeah.
So
Working with young artists now. Easy.
Easy T.
Easy
We
T.
work with a lot of people, but we also are, like the secret connectors that help businesses get to where they're going, or people or influencers. A lot of legendary artists, a lot of Grammy nominated and a Grammy Award winning artists call us, and we help them get to where they're trying to go and help them navigate back, back into the fold. We also counsel people. I mean, we do a lot of stuff
Yeah.
because people will say, "Well, how did you find a person like that? Well, how did you all look like you got it figured out." So sometimes we get a call at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we might sit for 3 hours and just be that ear for people.
Right.
So yeah. So
A
this
very
is
necessary.
yeah, very necessary. Because who can you talk to? You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like you're in the industry. You can't just go run and tell people what you're going through, and so
Oh, you got to be very careful who you talk to
There's
nowadays.
Yeah.
there's probably very few safe
Yeah.
spaces.
That part.
absolutely.
Right.
But we love embracing people and helping people, and to tie it all back in, this song with anybody looking for love is like it's really my life mission. Like really teaching people how to understand the power of truly loving yourself. Like really what that means, right? And having those boundaries and understanding what narcissistic energy is,
Right.
So I love
Hallelujah.
that. Yeah, I love that this song has this visual paired with it, because Amy plays Beth, which is Life and Beth, the name of the show. But her character Beth is really tapping into a lot of different areas of life, and I think it's going to be very educational, inspirational for people to learn a lot about themselves.
That's
You
true.
know.
Yep.
And in the series, she talks about discovering her husband being on the spectrum, and what's that like having a mate that you feel like doesn't support you, but they're supportive of you, but they're doing it in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And those very things that might seem irritating or hard to understand became the reasons why she fell in love with him. And I think
Right.
it's something that's so different, and it's her real life story. Like her husband's on the spectrum,
Yes.
and for her to like at the premiere, for her to just talk about how brave her husband. Imagine this whole show is predicated off of him, and he's like this guy that's just like, oh, do your thing, but it's shining light on people who have this gift in a way, So I'm just proud of this moment to be attached to it, and to be attached to it with good people,
We're proud.
and be able to share, this energy with the world at the same time.
Sounds like you guys are shedding a lot of light, a
Yeah.
lot of much needed light.
Yes. And likewise.
Absolutely.
I'm feeling it. I can feel it. We
Yeah.
need
Yep.
this. This is
We
awesome.
so need this.
It's
And
awesome.
we're just so happy that you guys came and shared the light with us.
Oh yeah.
You guys are doing amazing things. Where can the people find you? People that need you. People
Oh,
that's
okay.
stumbling a little bit. Where can they
Okay,
find you guys?
so for me, I'm at Storyteller, and that's STORYTELLAH, and that's on IG, that's on Twitter, and on my Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm at the Real Bone Crusher, at the Real, spelled like it's spelled, Bone Crusher, spelled like it's spelled, and that's on Instagram only. I ain't on nothing else. I can't do Facebook. That's for old.
They took his. They took his. The old people say Instabook. The old people say Instabook. I don't do that Instabook.
There is no bull. They be on
Mix them
Facebook
up
all
together.
day long. Old people
Yeah.
be on Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know when the old people took over Facebook.
Yeah, they did.
What happened?
I don't know, but they all there.
They all there. Like my mama
I
and
ain't
my
gonna
aunties
front,
on
I'm still there,
Facebook.
I'm on
I
there.
don't need to be nowhere near that.
Yeah, but they took yours though. They wanted.
They did. They took
wanted
mine.
his
They wanted too
social.
much. They wanted
They wanted an
everything.
ID,
Yeah.
and then they
Oh.
took all his stuff and made it a public page.
Made a public page.
Oh,
Yeah, they
They
took
took
it.
my page and made a public
Took all
page.
his posts and
Oh,
then
my
said,
God.
"This is we own
got
this."
a lot of nerve.
Yep.
Got a lot of nerve. Honey,
Well,
you want to take before we go?
before we wrap up, we wanted to present y'all
Oh,
lovely
Non-alcoholic.
I love
non-alcoholic
this.
beverage that we're trying to, promote to the people that we created. I know you probably sitting here this
Wow.
whole time like they sitting up there with liquor bottles. But
No,
this is non-alcoholic, and we like
that's
to,
amazing.
What is that?
we're Sun and Shield Throne Room.
Oh,
it's
no.
dope.
We have
this is this
rum,
here that we presented y'all was tequila. I think.
Tequila.
Okay.
but non-alcoholic.
But it's non-alcoholic.
And we don't
We
drink.
have-
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
We're
we
not
have,
drinkers.
We don't either.
See,
We have rum. We have.
this is awesome.
Is it sugary?
gin, we
Let me
have,
see this.
Not supposed to be.
Uh-oh.
No? I
Wow.
like the bottle.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Oh, you
And
guys-
it's only 1 gram. See, babe?
Look at that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can drink this.
Yes.
Healthy too,
Yes.
and non-alcoholic.
That's
Yes.
brilliant.
Yes.
You know
guys
what's
are
so
our first guest
crazy?
Because
being
I
presented,
watched
given that
so
gift.
much of these platforms,
Yeah.
promoting the liquor that's hurting us. That's another,
Say it again.
and that's not. We're not. We're not with that. We're
Say it again.
in God we trust here.
Let's say
I
it
like that.
again.
This is something that
It's hurting
we,
us in more ways than one.
And we also have wine and we have beer. We have that coming soon.
This
I
is so
will
brilliant.
Shoot y'all some when
This
Oh,
is
this
My
is
goal
Shield.
is to go live right in time for the Easter season because there's
Okay.
a lot of
yeah, we getting a lot of requests.
population that don't want to indulge anymore.
Yeah.
There was a movement started in January, dry January.
Oh,
A
wow.
lot of people that tend to
Really
knock it
cool.
back a little bit too much, and the holiday season dried out. So very soon, Sun and Shield
This
wine
is amazing,
and
guys.
good spirits.
This is
I
so
love it.
amazing. And never been done before. So congratulations on
Yeah,
this.
thank you. Yeah,
This is
Congratulations.
nice.
I don't mind
something that
telling
we got to promote the
I
right
know.
stuff to the people. We gotta
Yeah.
change.
Gotta
make
be the
change
example.
somewhere. Yeah.
I
This
love
is
it.
the example right here. Love. This is
That's
love.
love there.
We
Yeah.
honor y'all coming here so much
Very
tonight.
much
It
so.
really
Oh,
was
man,
very
thank you.
This was
special to
perfect.
us.
Thank you.
It's a great experience, and I hope y'all experience the king and queen, with the king and queen.
Yes, we
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Absolutely.
We had a great time.
Yes, this was
Exactly.
awesome.
Spread some light, y'all.